presentation of the Southeastern Conference on ABC.
The champions are the Sooners of Oklahoma.
Josh Heupel will not be returning. We need to go in a different direction.
Tennessee, they go to Norman.
I know he's fired up. It's going to mean a lot for him.
Man, it's about time for this game to get here.
Fight for that man next to you.
I haven't spent a day on the visitor sideline, so it'll be unique.
Tennessee on 2-1-2.
It's our first SEC matchup. It'll be huge for this program.
We got to go out and play well.
I hope that it's really quiet. It's going to be a fun day.
There he is, the Sooners championship quarterback returns for the first time since being fired as play caller 10 years ago. Josh Heupel wearing orange, but still plenty of friends in Chrisman. There are many emotional layers for the Tennessee coach as he comes back to the place where he was the Heisman runner-up. A strong storyline as Oklahoma finally makes its debut in the Southeastern Conference. Welcome to the SEC on ABC. A scorching night in Norman, Oklahoma, as the balls come calling on Saturday Night Football, presented by Capital One. So much anticipation for this one, Kirk. OU joined the SEC 38 months ago, pointing to this night since then. What a subplot that Heupel brings his volunteer team back in here. Oklahoma dominated the Big 12. They won 14 out of 28 championships. That's incredible. They have 50 conference titles in their history. It's on the scoreboard here. But when will they get 51? As they join the SEC, nobody's calling them contenders this season, that's for sure.
No, they've been kind of on the back burner. So many other powerhouses in this conference. I think the thing is, you just measured 38 months, basically 3 years to adjust and get your roster ready to get into this league. And tonight we find out. Make no mistake, all those questions about this team around this league and around the country about OU only motivated them. I think they're very excited to show what they can do tonight.
There's some fan anxiety. They've seen the stupid statistics that Heupel's Tennessee offense has put up, albeit against suspect competition. What we know, though, is they got an incredibly talented quarterback in Nico Iamaleava, a young guy making his first true road start tonight.
Yeah, this is, I think, an opportunity to really see how good he is at this stage of his career. We know he's got a brilliant future, but he played in Charlotte against North Carolina State, who's proven to be not a very good football team. This is a different challenge, which is great, and I think he welcomes that challenge. He said all week, hey, I've always loved playing on the road. I like being challenged, and tonight, if he can play well and Tennessee can keep this thing going, I think on a national level, people really start to point to this brand as being a real contender.
Brent Venables loves defense, and he loves a challenge. He's got one tonight. Love to get his offense going because the Sooners haven't thrown for 200 yards in a game yet. Jackson Arnold linked with Nico, part of that brilliant quarterback class of 2023. He's been a tough runner, Kirk, but the offense really hasn't clicked yet.
No, it has. They've got so many young faces. They've had some injuries on the offensive line and out at receiver. The good news is, we'll talk more about that, they're getting healthier tonight. Jackson Arnold, dual threat guy, a lot of confidence, but he's young and he's still growing and learning what he can do. I think the OU defense with Brent Venables, that's his calling card. They've got to keep him in his game, hold up against Nico, and then see if Jackson Arnold can make enough plays with his legs and his arm to see if they can pull off an upset here in Norman.
Tennessee up at number 7, looks like a playoff contender, maybe even a national title contender. We'll learn more about them tonight as the Sooners begin their rigorous run in the Southeastern Conference. Kickoff from Norman coming up.
The Nissan pregame drive is next after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Come on, rookie, you sleep down here.
Is that?
Whoa, Reggie Bush.
Yeah. Lost track of time in there. So, what's new?
Since you asked.
Pretty cool. Anything else? What is he doing?
He's watching the game.
Welcome to the Nissan pregame drive. Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Volunteers and Sooners coming up in just a couple minutes. Interesting afternoon window. The marquee game, USC at Michigan, and a Big Ten game. And this was back and forth. USC playing from behind. Will Johnson jumps the route. 2010 Wolverines at that point.
The All-American with a turning point here. Looks like Michigan may be pulling away. 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, but SC kept fighting back.
Michigan's offense, they fell behind. Kirk did not have a first down the entire half, drove 89 yards.
Yeah,
Mullings.
Moss to Lane, and then Mullings, like you said, no first downs. Game on the line. They take it the distance and find a way to get it done at home. That is a huge win for Sharon Moore.
Trojans rivals from UCLA and Baton Rouge. This was a battle early. LSU would fall behind here. There's a touchdown pass. Nussmeier to Kyle Parker. They would claim a 4-point lead. Back came the Bruins. Garbers.
Yeah, the Bruins showing a lot of heart here on the road, a tough environment, trying to show what they can do, tying up this football game. But here's our guy. We saw him last week in Columbia, South Carolina. Caden Durham with the ability to get out and make plays, not just running, but also receiving. I think they found their back this year in 29.
Nussmeier, 352-3, as the Bayou Bengals eventually win it easily. Utah and the Pokes still battling down the road in Stillwater. No Cam Rising today, but they rallied around it.
Exactly. It's a low-scoring game, kind of the game you would think you would see. Keithy with a touchdown. They're up at this point by 14 in a low-scoring game. Figured to be okay, but Alan Bowman would not give up. Still trying to bring them back. There's just a few seconds left in that game. Maybe a little bit too late there for the Pokes.
So Josh Heupel downplaying his personal motives. So many folks to say hello to and so many different emotions. You see the welcome sign and a tribute to him. Taps the heart, but now it's all business.
Yeah, he's locked in.
Can his high-powered offense punch holes in the Sooners defense? Can't wait to find out. This has been the Nissan pregame drive. Kickoff from Norman is coming up next after these messages from Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
The thrill of finding your path with the Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek.
The new 12-team college football playoff begins December 20th on ESPN.
Y'all, the time is finally here.
This one has high stakes, star power, and payback.
Few teams have done more than Oklahoma. Rings, Heismans, with personalities bigger than the prairie itself.
Wow, that'll be talked about.
But I can't outrun my Tennessee roots. Rocky Top, running through the T. My big old home state drenched in so much orange.
Don't take this opportunity for granted.
I might hurt a little. I might work a lot. Counting down the good times, staring down the clock. Two bigger-than-life programs. One coach coming back home as a visitor. Oh, that's how I get. The Vols are saying, yo, Boomer, welcome to the SEC.
It is an embarrassment of riches.
The Sooners are clapping back. Yo, SEC, welcome to Norman. Tennessee, Oklahoma, a primetime throwdown. Now this is a good time. Lord, that's how I get by.
Orange and crimson clash here on a scorching night in the plains of Oklahoma. Josh Heupel's offense scored 191 points through 3 games, outgaining people by almost 500 yards a game, Holly.
Well, he was running out with his team tonight. There's so much of your life's history that's unfolded on this field, Coach. What was it like leading another team out of the tunnel on the visitor side?
Yeah, really excited for the opportunity we got tonight. We got to settle into the game early, but great opportunity.
Part of the noise and the crowd is difficult to deal with. You guys have been in big atmospheres before, but how will your young quarterback handle this tonight?
Yeah, I thought this fan base would be friendlier with me coming back, but maybe not. So we got to settle into the game, got to do the ordinary things, got to communicate at a really high level.
Enjoy it, Coach.
Thank you.
It's a milestone for Oklahoma, Kirk, but this would be a milestone win because Tennessee has not had a true road win against a top 15 team since 2006. At Sanford Stadium, at 29 straight losses. Hard to believe.
It really is. Some lean years, but Josh Heupel's bringing this program back, and college football is better when Tennessee football is relevant, and he has done a marvelous job. It's going to be exciting to see him back in his stomping grounds where he played and won a national title. What a scene here.
It's cooled down. It's only 91 in kickoff, thankfully for the players. The field is in shadows now. It's a test of conditioning, and at the tempo that Josh Heupel teams want to play with. Look out if you're on defense for both sides tonight.
Amen.
Hope you've done your summer conditioning.
Also, those lads up in the upper deck, I hope they've done their conditioning. It is right into the face of that sun.
Well, Heupel won the toss but deferred, so the Sooners offense will get the football first. And Josh Tuberville to boot it away as Oklahoma's SEC era begins right now. Sam Franklin standing at the Oklahoma 2. Just a beautiful atmosphere here tonight. Banged right through the end zone. So here comes Jackson Arnold. Grew up in Georgia, moved to Texas, went to Geyer High School in Denton. Very hyped recruit. Got to play in the bowl game, was impressive. These numbers haven't been what he's hoped for, certainly so far.
Biggest thing you could say about him, just a fearless competitor. Dual guy, can spin it, but also when his first and primary receiver is not there, he'll often pull it down and rely on his legs. He'll have his hands full with his offensive line against his front from Tennessee.
Two-back look to start. Javonte Barnes and Taylor Tatum. And some confusion right away. The handoff finally is given there, and Elijah Simmons comes in and makes the tackle behind the line.
Yeah, first snap high, some jitters. Watch go high right. Watch Barnes, he turns around. He thought the ball went by the quarterback, and obviously that disrupts the timing, and Elijah Simmons able to penetrate.
So they lose 5 on the first play. Run it again. Bouncing off, folks, is Taylor Tatum, the true freshman from Longview. He's got a big future. 3rd and long now.
Yeah, 3rd and long. It's important to remember, I mentioned the injuries in the open. You have Branson Hickman back in the lineup. They've had 11 different combinations so far this season. Think about that. So lack of continuity, still trying to figure things out, and look who they're going up against, one of the top fronts in the SEC.
Very nasty pass rusher, James Pierce on the left end here. And he's the one who jumped offside, so Arnold's got a free play on 3rd down. Actually, they're going to blow it dead. It was caught down there by Brennan Thompson, but they say no play.
Prior to the snap, offside, number 3, with contact, 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, I think everybody sees the like we all thought the defensive end James Pierce, but it was Draw McCoy, the corner, who actually made contact. So, you know, you're looking here and you think, oh, it's potentially going to be a free play, but instead it's down here. Watch the contact, and that's where they blow it dead, and now the play's over. You've got to shut it down. But if it were just a defensive end, that would have been a free play.
Makes it a more manageable 3rd and 6, however. Both teams are keyed up. It's pretty obvious early.
Oh, yeah.
Barnes the back. Tennessee rushes 5. Ball out quickly on a slant, and it's complete. And that's Deion Burks, who's been the top target so far, the powerful little slot receiver who came from Purdue.
Yeah, he's been his go-to receiver with the injuries that they've sustained. And they're going to go fast here after they pick up that 1st down. Remember, they run a very similar offense that Tennessee runs.
1st down throw, near side, wide. Tried to find Zion Reagan's there.
Jeff Levy was part of this initial staff, and Jeff Levy is go way back to Art Briles. These systems are kind of from that Art Briles coaching tree. Jeff Levy went down to Mississippi State after being here at OU as the offensive coordinator, and now they still are with Seth Littrell are running that similar offense. So there's a familiarity from both these defenses seeing these offenses so often. There's Seth Littrell right there.
Josh Heupel, one of his best friends. Heupel was in his wedding, so there's so many ties between these two teams. Second and 10. Arnold hands it off inside. How good is this Tennessee defense? They've overwhelmed 3 opponents. They've looked elite, but the competition a little suspect.
Yeah, I mean, nights like tonight, we're going to find out how good they are, and as they get deeper into the SEC, the front is as good as you're going to see. Tim Banks, the defense coordinator, I think he'll tell you it straight up. I think the linebackers, you'll see tonight, 11. Peely is legit. Carter's getting better and better at 7. And the secondary has been great, but inexperienced coming into the year.
And 3rd and 9, Arnold escapes. Can he get there? Spun down short of the marker right at midfield. He's a good scrambler, but Amari Thomas, the big fella in the middle, got him down, and it's 4th down.
Well, I think what he saw right away was he saw the middle linebacker pulling out, and so instead of waiting on that 3rd down play, he decided to abort, try to pick up some positive yards, give themselves, they're going to go with a shot here right at the 50 on 4th down.
Well, they got 2 guys to jump last time. Let's see if that's the plan here. 2 tight ends in the game, an early gamble from Venables if they run a play. On the move, Arnold flips it, incomplete, threw it into traffic, and it was broken up by McCoy. And Tennessee will take over right at midfield. That was a risk.
It was. What a play by McCoy on a switch release. Great communication. See that switch release? Makes it tough on communication, especially with a soft corner. But he recognized that ball is out, reacts quickly, and is able to get in there with that right hand to be able to knock it away from Nick Anderson, who's back for the first time all year after having an injury in camp.
Got welcomed back with a body slam by McCoy after the play. So if this Tennessee offense isn't good enough, now you set up Nico Iamaleava and company right at midfield. .6'6", very long, lean, flexible, and fast athlete. Play fake, and they pitch it to the edge, and that's Chris Brazel who makes the catch, tackled immediately. Nice play on the perimeter there by Kenai Walker.
Oklahoma spread sideline to sideline against Nico, who has a good feel, but it's a real test for him on the road. We mentioned earlier, first true test on the road in just his 5th career start.
Protected well, but he spins out, trying to create on the move, makes a couple-man miss. Nico Iamaleava, even though he is 6'6", is hard to catch and hard to get to the ground.
No doubt about that. They ended up bringing the nickel from the field from his left. It was Dolby. Almost got in there, but you're right. It's 6'6", that short area quickness that he has. Tough in the open field. Usually you don't see that with that kind of length.
Makes it 3rd and 2, and they feed Dylan Sampson. Is off to a great start. The feature back is smothered inside by Dejon Terry, and filling was Robert Spears-Jennings. 4th down.
What a job by this defense, man. After the chance by going for it on 4th down, the defense bails them out. Good job of attacking here and here to take the blocker away, 87, Kitzelman, and it frees up the defensive back there to clean it up, Spears-Jennings. Great defense on 3rd and short by the Sooners.
Just the 3rd punt so far this season for the Aussie, Jackson Ross. That was just the Volunteers' 2nd 3-and-out so far. He can kick it with either foot. He chooses the right one this time and knocks it toward the Coffin corner, but it'll bounce into the end zone. They had it semi-surrounded, but the ball got past him there, so a touchback. Sooners' 2nd possession coming up. Oklahoma enters the SEC, bringing a tremendous legacy. Mentioned they won half of the 28 Big 12 championships. They used to win Big 7s and Big 8s. These are the 4 Heisman guys since the year 2000. They got a total of 7 statues outside there. Heupel almost got an 8th. And they've done pretty well, Kirk, as you know, against the current members of the SEC, including that bunch from Austin and Burnt Orange that we'll see him collide with in a few weeks.
No doubt about that. People forget about that.
There's Bob Stoops, a couple of doors down from us here. It was good to talk to the coach. Arnold tried a quarterback draw and ran smack into Keenan Peely, the 26-year-old grown man, former BYU Cougar.
Here's Bob Stoops. He's stopped by to say hello. We're hoping to be able to say hello a little bit longer at half, but What a play. I think this OU offensive line is realizing here early in this game the challenge that they're facing against a deep Tennessee front. They're rotating bodies.
Swallowed up and smashed to the ground by Tyree West. This Tennessee front showing why there's so much excitement in Knoxville over this group.
And we talked about 11 different combinations. Watch this. The tackle Tarquin just lets the speedy defensive end just go right by him. You know, he's waiting for the tight end who's coming over to be able to help get a kick-out block. But the recognition there by West, he never had a chance.
He'll play like 10 guys. Yep. Very, very deep, very talented, very disruptive. 3rd and 16. Arnold trying to make something happen. Flips it. Caught by Jake Roberts, the tight end, for a short gain, but not able to overcome the negative plays. Boo Carter made that stop.
Yeah, pretty good feel there by Arnold. They used a twist stunt from the end going to the inside, so it freed up a little bit of movement and room for him to get out there. He breaks contained, but Tennessee's defense, boy, they are very athletic. They might be inexperienced coming into this year, but they're, I think, athletically a much faster and better group as a whole.
Luke Elzinga into punt, second year with the Sooners. 3 years at Central Michigan. And Squirrel White back to return the punt of the lefty. Not a very deep one. White has a running start and stumbles out of bounds. And again, Nico Iamaleava and the Volunteers offense will have pretty good field position beginning from the 44. Scoreless midway first quarter here at Oklahoma.
Capital One cardholders can get their own rewarding performance when they redeem their credit card rewards for tickets to exclusive events and experiences on Capital One Entertainment. Scan the code on your screen to learn more. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Two quarterbacks length. They don't really know each other. A couple of DMs between Nico and Jackson. But they're in that very talented quarterback class of 23, already making an impact. We would talk about these guys in years to come in the SEC, along with Arch Manning, of course, in Texas, Lenoris Sellers at South Carolina, part of that same class as well.
Yeah, heck of a class, and a lot of these guys getting opportunities early, including Arch Manning tonight. Although we'll make it very clear, the way Sark made it clear, he could go 50 for 50 for 500 yards. The ball goes back to Quinn Ewers when they get ready for conference play next week in Austin.
Volunteers could not take advantage of good field position the first time. Can they here? Sampson wants to pick his way, and they're all eyes on Dylan Sampson because number 6, the junior out of Baton Rouge, averaging almost 8 yards a carry, 9 rushing touchdowns already.
Yeah, I mean, instead of looking at Tennessee and saying, geez, you know, they're going to get this going at some point, I'm looking at Oklahoma thinking, I think the familiarity with Brent Venables working on this offense of Tennessee since January, they're flying right now.
Nico on the move, flips it. Catch made, and immediately Holden stays. The tight end is knocked down. Spears Jennings in there quickly.
Again, keep in mind, because he knows this offense, he hired Jeff Levy to run this kind of offense. He's able to have all this entire offseason to get ready for Josh Heupel's offensive style. And then you throw in the fact 8 of the top 10 tacklers back from a year. A lot of these guys have played a lot of football, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. Usually it's Tennessee that has a defense on its heels. In these first couple series, I think it's OU who's in attack mode.
Oh, yeah, those linebackers and safeties flying around. 3rd and 6. They drop off in coverage. They dump it down to Squirrel White, and Squirrel is swallowed up and dropped. Lewis Carter made the play. There is a flag down.
Watch little things like this, the communication from a veteran like this and Peyton Bowen. They saw that motion, orbit motion back. That keys that, hey, we know what's coming. They're coming our way. And how quickly, we just talked about it, put it on a tee. The safeties, the linebackers, their vision, they're reading keys, and they're flying and attacking these Tennessee receivers. Nowhere to go after the catch.
I don't see a marker on the field. Matt Leffler and his crew having a conversation.
Personal foul, number 0 on Tennessee for blocking out of bounds. That's after the play. It'll be 4th down, 15-yard penalty.
Stern tone of voice from Matt Leffler. You got Ethan Davis blocking after the play. It'll just back him up for the punt here.
He ends up making his block. I mean, on one hand, I personally don't mind to see an offensive player take a guy into the third row, but you know, when it's after the whistle like that, you can't do it.
Someone on the staff paid a price there. He got knocked sideways. So the second punt already for Ross. Only had 2 in the first 3 games, and a fair catch made by Peyton Bowen, a 43-yard punt. Well, you said Venables a little salty this week. You know, he knew his defense was going to have to step up and play at a high level, and they certainly have so far. Don't know if we expected to see 4 punts this quickly.
No, but I do think it's defensive familiarity because they both run the same scheme. Usually for fans, you have 6 days. Just got done with a game. You're grading that film. You're getting ready to play these kind of offenses with the tempo. They spread you out. It's very challenging. In this case, you have an entire offseason to get ready for it, especially when it comes to Oklahoma because of the experience that they have on that defense.
We asked Brent, when did you begin preparing? January.
Right.
I said, are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
They had 7 new conference opponents to prepare for. Texas, they know.
Yep.
But they spent more time on Tennessee and on Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss offense than anyone else. Quick pitch to the perimeter there. It's Deion Burks with his second catch. They'll take that gain on first down.
Yeah, they sure will. You're just waiting to see which offense can get some rhythm going. The defenses, especially Tennessee up front, winning the line of scrimmage and making it tough on Jackson Arnold and company. That time, just a quick ball, get it out to the outside.
Jet sweep, hand it off to Burks, who shows that acceleration. He's a dude who's short, but check out the quads on this guy. Squats 540, benches 400.
Yeah, he came from Purdue, like a Rondell Moore type of receiver. Yeah. He's definitely in the weight room.
He said Dad coached him hard in the weight room. There was no quitting.
And with all the injuries they've had to receiver, he's been big.
On the play fake, Arnold drops back from the pocket and takes his first downfield shot and threw it right into the hands of McCoy. Gerard McCoy spun down in Oklahoma territory. First young quarterback mistake of the night for Arnold.
Yeah, this is part of his youth and still growing. And we're going to roll this. The corner who will leave the screen momentarily, he'll come back. I think he looks right now at this crosser, and he doesn't realize that this corner's sinking into that coverage. And because of he just didn't see it. I think he expected zone with the corner up tight, and instead a good job there by the corner. McCoy sinking, almost baiting him, and then goes up high points to football for a turnover.
Tennessee lost 11 defensive backs off this roster. Germon McCoy comes over from Oregon State. A tremendous start to the season, and his pick sets up the Volunteers again for a 3rd time in great field position at midfield. Haven't been able to cash it in so far. There's a first down handoff to Deshaun Bishop, redshirt freshman from right there in Knoxville.
Yeah, this Oklahoma defense coming into tonight, they led the nation as far as average starting field position. Tonight, after they're going for it on 4th down with their own offense, the 48, and now here at midfield after the pick.
Play fake on 2nd down. Iamaleava across the middle. Brew McCoy is loose. Brew McCoy weaving through the secondary, sets up Tennessee 1st and goal first. Big play of the night, 38 yards.
And first real mistake here as far as the defense gets concerned. Look at the safeties flying with that motion. It opened it up on the backside, and Nico does a great job with that throw to make it huge play for the Vols.
Big 330-pounder. Dejon Terry Kirk for the Sooners is down on the field. Of course, immediately Tennessee fans skeptical about this because they were going to play very, very fast after getting the 1st and goal.
Yeah, I think you'll see, hopefully he's okay. But you see things all over college football against these style of offenses.
Looking at that right leg. Holly?
Well, guys, what an incredible reception by Brew McCoy and the fight for yards after the catch. It has been a long journey from him. He broke his ankle last year, a gruesome injury that required 4 different surgeries. He told me that it was a really hard process. There were days he couldn't get up and walk to the restroom himself, days in the hospital. For weeks he was depressed. It was hard, but he has gone through relentless rehab. He actually came back a month earlier than he had planned, and his GPS speed is up to what it was before the injury. His work ethic and rehab has been key for him to look like that on that last possession.
Yeah, he's the guy you cheer for. 6th year of college football. Walking off is Terry.
Chris, this is progressive pylon cam. Listen, I'm not saying this guy, this is college football. It drives me crazy. They look over after a big play, and all of a sudden he looks over and he just goes down. You know, it's not necessarily against the rules, but it's unethical as hell when you see this all over against these tempo offenses. Guys just go down with the quote-unquote injury.
Preach, Brother Herb Street.
I just can't. It's pathetic.
So, Sooners get a breather, but the Vols are set up 1st and goal. Bishop is the back. Tight end Kitzelman is in the backfield as well. OU defense crowding the line. Crown trying to make it tough on Iamaleava. Breaking a tackle, diving forward for a couple of yards is Bishop. Kendall Dolby on the tackle.
Well, they got good depth themselves in that backfield. Both these teams with good running backs. Sampson, of course, gets most of the opportunities in the carries, but they'll rotate a few different backs. Good hard running that time by Bishop.
Sampson comes in the game. He's lined up, looks like in the slot left. Or check it, that's McCoy. White far left on 2nd and goal. Iamaleava zips into the back of the end zone. A dangerous throw. Kanai Walker broke it up. Brazel was the intended receiver.
Yeah, Brazel's 6'5". He's an obvious target down there. I was just kind of looking up there as a potential one-on-one opportunity. Is he going to take it? What I love there is the fact that Walker gets his head turned around and locates the football. A lot of times you'll either see a ball thrown on a line back shoulder or up in the air to the corner. That time it didn't have much loft to it, but a heck of a job by Walker getting his head turned to locate the football.
If you want to use a tall receiver, you got to throw it higher than that.
Yeah.
So this OU defense gets it to 3rd and goal. Iamaleava trying to escape and create on the run. He'll be tracked down and dropped right at the line of scrimmage. Danny Stutzman, the leader and the top tackler on this defense, and Kip Lewis combined. 4th down.
He is relentless. I thought he might be down with Ethan Downs getting the pressure. But watch Stutzman right here. To me, and I think many, this is the top middle linebacker in college football, just spying him. But the relentless motor, Downs almost with his sack, then the cutback, bang, 28 makes the play right there.
Tennessee, 4 possessions in great field position. This one, big play, sets them up at 1st and goal. Have to settle for 3. Max Gilbert, 1st-year starting kicker, redshirted a year ago, knocks the chip shot through from 26. Seems like the entire game's been played in one half of the field, but it's only 3-0. Have you heard about this game? Next Saturday, primetime on ABC, Georgia and Alabama, a regular season collision. The Dogs come calling. The Tide have pretty much dominated the head-to-head. Georgia, of course, got them in the one national championship game in Indy.
How much
Cannot
fun
wait for this.
Is the SEC on ABC? I mean, these games that we're traveling around to, college games, you'll be down there. Look at these matchups since 2017. And look at the national championship, the SEC championship. One regular season game, so it's unique next week, and then SEC and national title.
Of course, Kalen DeBoer and his staff, the new wrinkle. Not playing for a trophy makes it interesting. Does it change the dynamic that it's an early season game? Not at all?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's Alabama. Whether Nick Saban's there or not, they look at themselves still as being the big dog in the conference in the country. And Georgia, as we know, has kind of knocked them off in recent years with Kirby. It's a chance to settle it on the field. I cannot wait to get down there.
Turbeville boots it away, and it's a touchback. Mercifully, the sun is setting here in Oklahoma. It's been up near 100 for the past few days. Goodyear providing the aerial coverage, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven.
And Oklahoma's offensive line, remember they've had all 11 different combinations. Some guys are back, they're healthier than they've been, but they're going up against one of the top defensive fronts in the SEC and maybe in college football. A few series now under their belt. They've got to get something going with their running game to take the pressure off of this young quarterback having to make all these plays. And can he respond to that interception?
He did respond last game against Tulane. And this time Arnold on a slant just off the fingertips of Brennan Thompson threw a pick six. And what had been a comfortable lead was down to a one-score game. Eventually he would respond, ran the ball into the end zone, a nice drive to cap the win. So he's had to bounce back already from some mistakes.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And obviously he has. And he's just a young guy. And in a big game that's hyped up, I don't have any question that he's going to respond. But I think that's really the mark of a great quarterback after a mistake. How do you respond on that next opportunity?
3 for 7 so far. They hand it off. Barnes gets the edge, and Barnes has got a first down. Hammered hard out near midfield, but the Sooner ground game makes a play. 17 yards.
Yeah, they had 2 backs in that backfield. That pony look, motion here, gets the defense attention, and then go the other way. Nice job of being able to get to that edge. Tennessee would love to be able to set the edge better, but I just talked about a big hit there late. He's down from that hit.
Man, flying in there and delivering that serious blow was the freshman Boo Carter. Looks like he's on his feet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just talked about the importance of running the football. That time they won the edge, and you could see the speed that Barnes has. Powerful guy, 207 pounds, the Desert Pines in Las Vegas.
Able to get around, get to the perimeter with the run game, desperately needed.
Well, it's tough sledding between the tackles with Eason and Thomas and Simmons and Omar Norman Lott. And they're going to have any luck running. They're going to have to either have those quick passes that are an extension of the running game out on the perimeter, or get the backs out there as they just did there with Barnes.
You got 4 300-pounders who rotate in the middle. All of them have quickness, athleticism to go with the power. Another jet sweep trying to get around the right edge this time. And that's Burke showing the quicks. Another nice gain out near midfield.
And so, again, that's what they're going to do. They're going to get outside. What's the other thing that this does? The depth that you just referenced. Try to wear this defensive line out, especially the big guys, those 300-pounders. Even though they're rotating, if they don't sub, they can't get that defensive line off the field.
2nd and 3. Tatum, the freshman, hammers forward, takes another big shot, but it's a first down at the Tennessee 45.
DeMarco Murray, the running back coach, who was an outstanding player in his own right here for the Sooners, went on to have a great career. He thinks 8, the true freshman Tatum, has a really bright future.
There's number 8 again, lost the ball. It bounced right back to him. A fortunate break, and they pick up about 4.
Yeah, Joshua Josephs knocked that ball loose. I saw it just at the end. I didn't know if his knee was down or not. There's the ball from 19 who knocks it. No, that ball's out. Very fortunate. Bounced right back up to him, but some good push up there. They did that time run between the tackles.
Offensive coordinators on both sides, but especially Seth Luttrell, talking about the urgency, the importance of first downs, getting 4 or 5 yards like they did that time. Makes it easier. And there's a 2nd down catch by Bowers Sharp, the transfer tight end from Southeast Louisiana. Another first down.
Really well designed play by Seth Luttrell. He actually motions out Barnes, and he moves the backer, creates the space in the middle, and gets a quick throw.
Arnold again, a short throw. This Oklahoma offense, as a flag comes in, they're going to get a pass interference call on Ricky Gibson III against Thompson. This offense at times has really been stagnant, but Kirk, they've had some drives where they've found a beautiful rhythm, run pass mix, and when they do, it's impressive.
And that's what we're seeing right here.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of whether or not they're going to be able to finish that off. They're going to get a pass interference call here too.
On the defense, number 1. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
You know, that rhythm that you're talking about, it all works together with the formation, the personnel grouping, the pre-snap movement, the motion. It's all kind of in sync right now. We're seeing how this young quarterback is answering. There at the top of the screen, definitely a good call there, grabbing a hold of the jersey when he worked back into the inside on that quick slant. So Sooners inside the 30-yard line.
Luttrell became the offensive coordinator in the Alamo Bowl. That's when Jackson Arnold, of course, got his first start. 7th play of him, good-looking drive. Another play fake. Short throw across the middle. He zips the dart, trying to find Thompson again, a little too high.
Yeah, that's a run-pass option where he reads the 2nd level of the defense. If they collapse down and try to take away the running game, he pulls it. tried to make a throw. The ironic thing is it opened up. If he would have handed that football off to Barnes, there was a nice hole there that he would have been able to get some big yards. Took a shot on the pass, just not able to hit it.
Very heavy RPO attack, and they were encouraging Arnold to throw the ball, not just hand it off. They felt it was a little too cautious at times in the first 3 games. From the pocket, delivers a strike, and there's Burks again. He has been the main weapon again tonight. Picks up about 9 before Carter gets him down.
Yeah, they're spreading the defense out, creating space. That time the big tight end, Bowers Sharp, took away the interior, that coverage. It followed him on that inside route. Good patience that time on that pass. We have another Sooner. Looks like Burks, who's now limping off. We already saw Nick Anderson when we were to break, who limped off the field, actually went into the locker room. He's a young man who they had counted on, but had a quad in camp and hadn't played all year until tonight, but gave it a go, but have not seen him since he went into the locker room.
Taylor Tatum, I'm told, is in the medical tent. And this 3rd and 1, Barnes is the back. Nothing. He talked about running into the teeth of all those big bodies in the white and the orange. He got nothing, and it's 4th down, and it's going to be a long yard. Elijah Simmons is there.
Elijah Simmons at 340, and then Peely, who they love to see what he has been able to do since coming over, now that he's healthy after the tricep injury a year ago in the opener. Both of those two blowing that play up. Great defense there on 3rd and 1.
Yeah, stopping him cold leads Venables to send out Tyler Keltner, the field goal kicker. Back up at Florida State last year, but a good career at East Tennessee State before that. So his 3rd school, won the kicking job and knocks it right through. 10-play Sooner drive, and they tie it at 33 seconds in the quarter. Holly?
Well, Kurt, you mentioned that Nick Anderson is a wide receiver that they really expected to get some exact plays out of tonight. But look at what happened here on this play. You can see him come up limping a little bit lame there. He's been suffering from some upper leg, possible hip injuries. I saw him in practice on Thursday. He ran a few routes, and the same exact thing happened. They've been trying to get him back on the field. He's a freshman All-American last year, but just can't help. Deion Burks has really been the workhorse. 22 receptions already this season before this game, and now he's shaken up on the sideline. It's a big deal right now.
Yeah, 10 touchdowns. That's an Oklahoma freshman record for Anderson. I'll tell you, Jackson Arnold was really looking forward to getting number 4 back involved in the mix tonight. It'd be a shame if his night's over already.
It really would be. And, you know, you're talking about a receiver that gained some confidence as a young man last year, 6'4". You know, he gives you that big target. So we'll keep a close eye on how he is doing.
Zach Schmidt, kick-on specialist, boots it away.
We talked about the experience of Venables understanding this offensive style. I think he's got his team locked in. Look how they are flying, whether it's been a run game, whether it's been here on 3rd down and 6, anticipating and seeing this. I mean, if you're a Tennessee fan, you're not used to seeing defenses play with such aggression against this offense. Like I say, usually it's Tennessee that's got the defense nervous, looking to the sidelines, trying to make sure they're lined up right against the tempo. Still early in this game, but this first quarter, you got to tip your cap to how well prepared this OU defense is.
It's Modelo bringing you the playbook tonight. So the Vols take over, 3-3 game at the 25. And a pre-snap penalty.
The left guard, too.
Tennessee offense, it's run 11 plays and gained just 47 yards. It's been very uncharacteristic.
Offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty. It is.
You know, Chattanooga, Kent State last week is hapless. And NC State they thought was a quality win, but they got crushed today.
Wow, did they ever?
By Clemson. So they, you know, this is a huge step up.
I think, especially after seeing NC State today, I think a lot of people nationally are excited to see Tennessee's at 6. This environment, young quarterback, man, let's see them take a big step. Or, you know, I don't care how you win. If you win on a road in Norman, that impresses people. It would be tough.
Fake it to Sampson, pitch it on the edge to Squirrel White, who makes a cut and dives forward. He's near the marker. See where they'll spot him. Looks like he got a yard short, 14-yard gain.
A long throw. It helps having that big arm.
Vols playing quickly, trying to get one more play squeezed into this first quarter. Iamaleava off the play fake, right down the seam, and it's caught by Dante Thornton. A foot race. They won't catch him. 66 to the house. Doesn't take long for this offense.
No, how about they hurried up? Let's get, you know what, guys? Let's get one more, because with our offense, you just never know what that next play might be, and they hit a big one.
Thornton, a transfer from Oregon. They brought in a lot of new faces on this offense. We've seen Brazel, seen Thornton now, who's caught 3 touchdowns already on the young season. And Tennessee strikes quickly to jump in front by a touchdown here. You play great defense against this team, but you have one lapse.
That's
and they
it.
make you pay.
Yeah, and here you have a couple receivers into the boundary. They're going to use a tight end and a running back to give them 7 to protect. But watch the safety come down from Oklahoma right here. Once he comes down, he's got the middle of the field open. Watch his rhythm with his feet. Hitch, hitch, ball out. Right on the money. Perfect throw. And again, that's what you love to see. We know about Bru McCoy and his physicality. We know about Squirrel White. We're waiting to find who can be that Jalen Hyatt in this offense. Who can get vertical and make that play? Can it be Brazel? Can it be Thornton? We see a great example of it right there. The vertical seams of this offense and what they can do if you leave a corner on an island just like that. As good as you've played, they score.
66-yarder, the longest of his so far brief but promising career. Many think this is the deepest wide receiver room, not only in the SEC, but maybe one of the deepest in the country.
Well, when you add Matthews, the freshman, you probably have 7 guys that I think they feel are at a level where they can contribute. But again, I think if they're going to become who we think they can be, like I say, I use Jalen Hyatt as an example. You need that threat that every offense or every defense that prepares for them is worried about where is 1 or where is 17 because of how they get downfield. That's such a big aspect of this offense when it's really humming. Power run and seams, shots downfield.
They had great field position for 4 drives, didn't get in the end zone. Now, step back at the 25, boom. They very quickly down the field in 2 plays in 30 seconds. Holly, what do you have?
Well, guys, the guys say that Nico Iamaleava is calm and composed at all times, and he has had to be. It's gotten up to about 117 decibels out here. It is loud and frenetic, but you couldn't tell if you watch him. He's so calm as he operates and makes this offense move downfield. We talked to the coaches about it, and they said they've actually been preparing for noise since March. They wanted to have crowd noise all through spring practice, all through fall practice, so when they are on the road in these loud SEC environments, their young quarterback doesn't get rattled and he can stay in rhythm. And I'm telling you, Nico is in rhythm.
Hey, Holly, 117. How does that rank on the board for you? I mean, you've been in a lot of stadiums.
That's the loudest we've had in 2 years. Our loudest last year was LSU 115, so this is pretty loud out here.
I love it.
Yeah, he's got a very calm demeanor, Nico does. Just a very chill way about him. Californian. We talked about being an elite volleyball player. A lot of confidence in himself, but it's not about him. He's very humble. It's about the collective, about the team.
Yep.
And teammates already love that about him as well. So Oklahoma had a very promising drive, stalled, stopped on that 3rd and 1, had to settle for a field goal. Now Arnold and the Sooners behind by 7.
We just knew, and I think anybody knows, as good as you play, if you leave these corners on islands, eventually with a quarterback like this, with the receivers that he has in his scheme, it's tough to shut them down the whole night. And now it's going to be about Oklahoma. You don't want to get into a shootout. You know, they'll make the adjustments. Brent Venables and his defensive staff make some adjustments. But Arnold right now, they need to put a little drive together.
Final play of the first quarter. Arnold's on the move, slings it across the middle, and the catch is made by Brennan Thompson. Been targeting him a lot with this receiving core suddenly even more shorthanded. Will Brooks on the stop, and that'll be the final play. End of 1 here in Norman. 10-3 Volunteers back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. You're watching the SEC on ABC. Back in the SEC on ABC. Saturday Night Live in Norman, presented by Capital One. Second quarter, Sooners trying to match Tennessee's scoring strike. Playing with a few more injured guys. They'd hope to get healthier. That was one of the stories, but it looks like Nick Anderson is done for the night. Gavin Sawchuk is short carry. Keenan Peely on the tackle.
Yeah, one of the things that OU fans understand that's been frustrating is early in this year they've not created a ton of explosive plays of over 20 yards or more, only 8 on the year. That's 115th in the country. Tough to just drive the ball against this kind of defense. You need big plays.
Fires a dart out there off the hands of Deion Burks. It was a forward pass, incomplete.
Small thing, but often just overlooked when the ball is thrown out in front on an easy pass like that, with the lineman getting out in front to block on that kind of that jailbreak screen. He just puts it behind his receiver, making it a tough catch. Even if he caught that ball, he had to kind of redirect himself, and that play wouldn't have had a chance. So little thing, but accuracy. Put that ball out in front of the receiver.
A few times tonight, the ball placement hasn't been ideal on short throws by Arnold. 3rd and 10 now. Got pressure and fires downfield over the head of Thompson. They brought some heat there. They affected the throw.
Yeah, and they also have low risk, or a very, very low percentage pass here to Thompson. That's one-on-one, and you're going right at McCoy, who's out there on an island. But Tennessee has a lot of confidence. Saw the blitz from Will Brooks. They have no problem, and he's right there, step for step, in phase. Very low percentage of making that happen on that 3rd down.
McCoy making himself felt tonight in many ways. It's been really tough to throw on so far this season. Luke Elzinga angles the punt nicely, but it will carry into the end zone for a touchback. Josh Heupel's homecoming. Of course, he brings Nico and Smokey along with him. They kind of roll in there on that boat with wheels for the homecoming game and the high-powered offense. That's inflated set. They had, what, 65, whatever, at halftime against Kent State. The rush yards are ridiculous. They knew that wasn't going to continue, but the point is, it's very balanced, and we've seen it's very explosive, and some very sharp offensive minds crafting things.
Yeah, we got a flag here.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on Tennessee. That's half the distance to the 1st down.
You see players fired up. Listen, Heupel did not mention his personal story here, and he did not talk about any kind of vendetta or payback or anything at all about his OU background. But every Tennessee player we talked to was very aware of it, wanted it badly for him. It's an extra layer of intensity coming on the road in the SEC.
Yeah, I think it's about the SEC. I mean, coaches, after the game, we were talking on the bus, after the game, maybe some emotions.
Yeah.
But right now.
Not from him. I think the players are correct, though.
No doubt. Yeah, the players want to do it for him. Right now, it's execution.
So the ball is backed up at the 10. Iamaleava on the move and finds a man, but threw it behind him. Crossing route for Davis, the tight end.
Yeah, he had him open. Very rare. We're so used to him, even though he's just making his 5th career start, we're used to him seeing it. He really sat close to that boundary where he had 3 receivers. He finally looks backside and just misses the throw. That could have been a huge play if he recognized that early.
Just the 2nd incompletion so far for Iamaleava, 5 of 7. Feed Dylan Sampson, who is knocked down. Quick burst for about 5 yards. Dolby got him to the ground. 3rd down coming up. They don't slow down on 3rd down. Oklahoma, some pressure. Backside. Ball is loose. A scramble for it. A strip sack, and Ethan Downs recovers it to set Oklahoma up at the 5. Got him off the blind side.
Well, give Oklahoma a lot of credit because they're not slowing down. The fact that they want to keep dialing up pressure. backside. Never really saw it. Spears Jennings, who made a big play earlier, is able to get to him, knock that ball loose. Downs is able to pick that up. But here they get aggressive here. They walk him up late. Good job of disguising this pressure. He kind of glanced. He looked to his left. The offensive lineman that was trying to make a play, they were just unable to help him out at all. That was Dane Davis.
How about these Sooner safeties? You got Spears Jennings made some big plays this season. Peyton Bowen, Billy Bowen Jr. It's a strong group.
Veteran group, good group. Should mention with Lance Hurd out at left tackle, the transfer from LSU. Dane Davis, the right tackle, moves over to play left tackle. You don't know if that was a communication issue or not. Nonetheless, OU sitting pretty here at the 5-yard line. Chance maybe to tie this game up.
First time the Vols have lost a fumble this season. Sooners have been tremendous at taking it away. They have set this offense up in silver platter opportunity. Fake it to Barnes, heavy traffic, and Arnold just bowls back to the line of scrimmage into big Omari Thomas and Joshua Josephs.
That is a QB. Oh my gosh, they got a fumble. He lost that football. Tennessee recovered it.
Not sure. There's some confusion here. Arnold believes he was down.
Now the referee pointed the other direction. He's doing it again. He's pointing Tennessee football. That ball came out in that pile.
We'll check this out. Was it Joseph's near there? Let's see when the ball did come loose. They're ripping at it. Still up right now. He's falling on bodies.
I think 19 got that ball out.
That was the tight end Sharp that he kind of broke his fall there. Does he touch the ground with the elbow or the leg? I don't see it.
Bill Lamonier, Bill, what do you think of this?
It's a tight play, but I've got a fumble. That ball's out before he goes down to the ground.
No
so excellent call on the field by the officials.
It was, because he was in heavy traffic. Josephs comes up with it. What an enormous play when Oklahoma was set up, as I said, on a silver platter.
Yeah. The Vols defensive front. First of all, they blew the play up, and then Josephs gets the ball out with a heads-up play to rip it away from Arnold.
Crowd trying to make it tough on the Volunteer offense. That is a stunning turnover. The second for Arnold tonight. So OU defense has done a lot. They've created some short fields. They bailed out Oklahoma after some turnovers, and they set them up, and now they got to try to come up big and get the football back. Bishop had a hole, quick burst, and Deshaun Bishop knocked down right near the marker. Spears Jennings again on the stop.
What a job by that right side of picking up that blitz. 76 Scraggins does a heck of a job.
It's third down. Oklahoma doesn't have to call timeout. It's an official timeout here. There's a player complaining this time of an upper body injury. It's Jaden Jackson. The Vols don't slow down on third down at all.
It's interesting.
Sacked the last time. This time they're up there ready to run a play.
Yeah, Iamaleava, like you said, we're so used to that turbo almost every time. Like you said, that time he just sitting there waiting, and trying to make sure, try to get a good feel what Oklahoma is in. You saw the blitz, but I said the right side of the line, Scraggins and John Campbell, who is in with Davis moving over from right tackle to left tackle. They thought fast, picked up that blitz, opened up that hole, give him a shot, third and short.
Bunch of folks in the backfield. Bishop running behind blockers, bangs forward. It's a power formation and easily makes the first down.
Yeah, they followed both the tight ends that time. Stays and Gisselman get a hat on a hat. Second time we've seen Bishop lower his pads there in traffic and pound through, break through some tackles, get good yards.
Pitch to the edge. Catch made by Thornton. The big play earlier brought down by Spears Jennings.
It's good recognition by Nico. You know, a lot of times Oklahoma in his first half, they've been collapsing with the corners and sometimes safeties, that outside pressure. Good thing as a reminder to have him on a quick throw with a soft corner.
Pitch to the edge. Bishop makes a cut. He's really running well. It's been Dylan Sampson as the star of the backfield so far in the first 3 games, but tell you what, Bishop joining the party tonight, got 12 more.
Yeah, good field there in the open field, but again, got to give John Campbell, that right tackle, 74, Cooper Mays, both those guys hustling, getting up to that second level, helping him almost use their bodies as a screen to cut behind. Good effort.
2 tight ends in the formation. Play fake. Iamaleava. Pocket collapses, and he'll be sacked for the 2nd time tonight. Pretty good coverage. He held the ball. Kobe McKenzie and R. Mason Thomas closed in on him.
Yeah, that's a complete coverage sack. Look to the left there. There's nowhere to go. They have 3 on 2. Good job on that left side by OU taking that away. Nico was waiting, and eventually the effort up front able to pick up that sack.
R. Mason Thomas, the guy who had 3 sacks in the late going against Tulane, pretty much ended the game when the Green Wave were threatening. Powerfully built edge rusher from Fort Lauderdale. So, timeout taken. Volunteers trying to drive the length of the field after forcing the fumble after Iamaleava fumbled. Taco Bell Live My Student section of the year contest continues. He's trying to make it tough on Nico and the visitors tonight. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. So Tennessee with the football. Defense still had not given up an offensive touchdown in 17+ quarters. OU was set up on the doorstep, knocked the ball out of Arnold's hand, and now Tennessee trying to stretch the lead here with a long march.
Squirrel White right there motioning out.
Yeah, Cameron Seldon rotates in. They fake it to him. Iamaleava in traffic delivers across the middle, incomplete for Brazel.
Remember, he hit the big slant earlier, kind of a glance route for that touchdown when he got isolated. That time, much better coverage, tighter coverage from the veteran Woody Washington, one of the captains of this team. Ironically, from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, just south of Nashville, went to Oakland High School. Great player in high school and decided to go out and play for the Sooners. Been around for a long time. Number 5, good coverage.
Good idea what they love to do with this offense. Heupel will stretch you horizontally and then hit you right down the middle.
Yep.
Daggers. A lot of stress in opposing defenses. 3rd and 12. Sooners come after him. It's a screen, and they shut it down. Came flying in. That was the play designed for Tennessee. They got the ball out to the edge, but Peyton Bowen made the stop along with Dolby.
You got to give Oklahoma some credit there, getting aggressive instead of sitting back and playing zone. They brought Stutzman up to the middle. The screen's a great call if you can get it out and get underneath that tunnel of linemen, but too quick of a reaction with the eyes on the football by that secondary.
Jackson Ross, a little busier tonight than he has been. Only 2 punts coming into this game, but the Sooners force another one here. And the Aussie drives one. Beautiful kick. Can he get it to check? Wow. That is absolute perfection. You cannot execute it any better than that. 57 yards and stop it on the 4. The Sooners will take over.
Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? In part by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And Stello. Finally, an easy way to track your glucose. This product is designed to empower those who are 18 plus, not on insulin.
There's Barry Switzer. A little sloppy sandwich at midday. Thumbs up. Those are every Friday.
Oh, the Boz.
Boz is in the mix tonight.
Yeah.
It's a historic occasion for Oklahoma football. So Jamel Holloway, the only other living championship quarterback for Oklahoma besides the guy on the other sidelines tonight, Josh Heupel. Nice visit with him pregame. Tricky position here for this Oklahoma offense. Remember, they were set up the UT 5.
Offense,
had the fumble. Now they're inside their own 5 and backed up even more here.
Yeah, and Jackson Arnold has, again, he's had a night where he's played well. He's had a night where he's had a turnover. He had the interception, he had the fumble down inside the 5. The left guard there, twitch, just a little movement. Very careful time here. Be careful if you're Oklahoma.
Handoff in the end zone. Did he get out? Javante Barnes was stopped. Did not. Safety for Tennessee. Jason Jennings, part of that deep and athletic defensive front for the Volunteers. Number 2 for 2.
But this is quickness. I mean, you just knew that this defensive front thought, hey, we're going to shoot gaps. Let's get the ball into the backfield. That's going to be, they're going to take a peek at that. But boy, that was quickness, shooting a gap right here. Never really had much of a chance. He was fighting with everything that he had to try to get that ball to the outside of the goal line.
Whole ball has to get across. It's the opposite of breaking the plane. Does the entire football get across the right edge of that white line?
He is still
No, not so far.
Nope.
You can see, look at the tight end Sharp just getting shoved back into him. Is another really good call on the field. He's down now. Can't see if the whole ball did not get outside of the end zone there.
No.
Well, yeah, the punt, beautifully executed punt. The penalty ends up being very costly. It backed him up a couple yards, Kirk.
Yep. And we've talked most of this first half about the different offensive line combinations and how that could affect the continuity and the communication. Tennessee, the strength of their team up front. What a job by 97 Jennings shooting into that backfield. By the way, just more depth when you add guys like this into that defensive line. What a play for him.
Got to be careful now. Any opponent of Tennessee knows they can put an avalanche on you in a hurry of points and begin to pull away. So now a 12-3 game. The free kick here by Schmidt. And Nico will go back to work against the Oklahoma defense that might be getting worn out. They weren't off the field very long. Squirrel White slipped and went down right there. So Tennessee will not have good field position off that free kick. They'll begin from the 6. Usually an opportunity on those free kicks. You get a little room to run as he went backfield. This very spongy, high grass field, his elbows touched down there. It's not the fastest track on earth. Is that fair to say, this field tonight?
I think it's a little thick, but I don't know. I don't think it's intentional. I think both these teams can run.
I don't know. They couldn't find the mower around here this week, maybe.
I don't know. We're not in West Lafayette, right? I mean, both these guys can run.
South Bend, they used to do that too. Don't see it often in the SEC. Tell you what, Deshaun Bishop's really doing a nice job tonight. Tennessee lineman down on the field there. Looks like that's John Campbell.
Yeah, remember, he is in for the right tackle Davis, who's over at left tackle. So the Tennessee depth will be challenged here. So he's pointing to that left leg.
One of the massive tackles, 350-pound, fifth-year senior is Campbell. We'll step aside. 2 men down on the field.
Time now for our Dr. Pepper Fansville studio update. Let's go to Como. Number 7, Mizzou. Blake Craig, who had missed 3 field goals, redeems himself in double overtime here, Boog. So they're up by 3. Vandy's Brock Taylor trying to tie it up.
Too bad, Brock, you missed that one. But the Missouri kicker that made his, it's going to get wild in Como tonight.
Despite missing 3 field goals.
Doesn't matter. He made the game
He's
winner.
the hero, right? Mizzou survives. They're 4-0. Meanwhile, number 1 Texas, Arch Manning making his first career start. He has a pair of touchdown passes. This one to super talented Ryan Wingo.
Love the play call. Little pump there by Arch, and Wingo went up the sideline. Nice throw. Good catch. Touchdown.
That game on ESPN. Plus, back to Chris, Kirk, and Holly.
Kevin, thank you. The Oklahoma player down is Kendall Dolby, who made the tackle on that play. It's a lower leg injury. Does not look good, and they brought the cart out there. That left leg got awkwardly twisted around the lower part of the leg as he made that tackle. And Sooners gathered together, all of them, during that timeout in prayer. Holly?
Well, guys, they've quickly put an air cast on that right leg. He was pounding the turf, absolutely despondent. He is a senior. Many consider him one of the best players on this defense. He was just coming back this week after missing last week, and they are carting him off. This did look to be a quite gruesome injury from what we could see here on the field.
Yeah, it's so tough. You look on the left side of your screen and focus on the lower body of number 15 there, right? Twisting.
John Campbell, all his weight came down. Yeah, it's tough, obviously.
He did have a concussion last week, was just getting back after missing the Tulane game, and his teammates head over to the car to
whole team's
show him
going
support.
out.
It's tough when it's a senior man from Springfield, Ohio. So Oklahoma defense will have to overcome the losses. Holly said one of their better players plays the cheetah position, which is a DB position that matches up largely against the slot guys. So Squirrel White there. Sammy Omosigo is the backup. It's an OU defense that knew they were facing a high-powered attack. Really played well tonight. Good first half. Gave up a couple explosives. Set their offense up with a fumble, only to have OU's offense give it right back. And now with the man down, trying to get a stop here and prevent Tennessee from really building some momentum.
Yeah, it's tough for teammates to see one of their brothers go down like that. You can see the emotion. It's a tough night for him, for the entire OU nation. He's played really well tonight. 3 tackles, been flying all over the field, setting the edge for this defense. So wish him all the best. And so many people have had injuries like this, and a lot of times they get work done, they come back even stronger. So we'll hope for the best for him.
Yeah, began his career at Northeast Oklahoma A&M. It's a junior college. Sooners spotted his talent, brought him in. And he said he's played very well. And we certainly wish the best for Kendall Dolby in his recovery. Meanwhile, Tennessee, 2nd and 6 from the 10-yard line. White comes across in motion. Yamaliava rolling and cannot escape. That's an excellent tackle. Kip Lewis there. Not an easy guy to bring down, Nico.
No, not at all. Kip Lewis, 6'1", 215, actually plays at will linebacker spot in this defense tonight. It's almost like a nickel on the other side, opposite of the true cheetah. What a play in the open field there. Again, he's 6'6", but he's quick. They've been blitzing him, trying to dial it up with Stutzman, who you're looking at right there on these 3rd downs. He's walked up into the line of scrimmage. See if they end up bringing him or if he's showing it, we'll drop.
Venables' defense here done a tremendous job. Tennessee just 1 of 6 on 3rd down. They had that sack on a 3rd down rush. They're just going to try to run for it, and he doesn't get it. Bishop is stacked up, and this OU defense obviously distraught, emotional, seeing their buddy taken off, and Omosigo, who's his backup, came in and helped make the play.
Yeah, and again, you watch this Oklahoma defensive team the last few years. It's Stutzman, who is usually all over. Just by slowing him down, getting some of that penetration, using his instincts and his vision. Keep in mind, Stutzman, 6'4", 245-pound middle linebacker moving around like that.
He's a guy that makes the defensive calls on the field with the helmet communication. And the punt fielded by Bowen, who falls backward at the 30. Midway point of the 2nd quarter. Monday Night Football, we got a doubleheader. 7:15 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. I'll be up in Buffalo joining Louis Dan Laura. The Jags, some desperation at 0-2 as they visit the 2-0 Bills.
Yeah, I had the Bills a couple weeks ago, and you're going to love watching them. They lose Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs. I think they're playing even more as a team. Josh Allen is playing great football right now.
He's so happy. They're not throwing the ball much, but he's just loving winning.
It's a very unselfish approach by the Bills this year. Then the Bengals will follow. I'm going to go down there Monday night, check out the Commanders and the Bengals.
Arnold trying to get in track. They get it to the perimeter. They get a block, but Volunteers close it down, and they trap him behind the line of scrimmage on the loss there. Christian Charles made the tackle on Barnes.
Really good adjustment by Tim Banks when he sees that motion. That's been hurting Tennessee's defense tonight, those perimeter quick throws, but not that time.
Arnold on the move, pressure, and just has to throw it away. Got outside the pocket. Keenan Pili made the stop, and the OU fans didn't like the fact that Pili brought him down.
And I love Keenan Pili. Had him when I watched him against North Carolina State in the game that we called. I just think he is an enforcer back there. We're talking a lot about Stutzman, but 11 in white does just the same. That is perfect. You can boo all you want. And as a quarterback myself, I applaud that play. In this day and age, it's so hard to know where to hit a quarterback. That was a textbook play to force that throw out of there by Pili.
Lost an entire season a year ago. Thought it was going to be his last year to a triceps injury, so he comes back. 26 years old, married, got a kid on the way in February. Very mature dude to speak to, not a typical college player.
No. I think that injury last year and missing the entire season after the opener, I think even though he's a vet, played 25 games at BYU, I think it gave him a different perspective and a better understanding of this defense of Tim Banks and allowing him to play very fast, even though he didn't play last year.
He says, I'm a dinosaur. I'm so much older than most of my teammates.
Yeah.
Ali, you know about Keenan Pili and what he brings.
That's right. They actually call him Uncle Grandpa. He's so old, they're giving him all the names. But, you know, he is actually somebody that they're asking to step into a bigger leadership role. They want him to use his voice and use that maturity that he has. Because he got injured in the first game of last season, he kind of felt like the new guy, like he hadn't earned the right to be a leader yet on this team. And so the coaches are encouraging him, use your voice. You've got more experience than anybody on this defense. And you're seeing it time and time again.
In 2019, he actually played against Tennessee.
Yeah.
2019.
Another third down here and long.
We need 12. Arnold straight back, escapes the pocket. And now makes a late throw off the hands of Sharp, the tight end, who was really close to the line of scrimmage.
Boy, how did he get away from Pierce? Pierce didn't necessarily do his typical rush where he gets around. He actually stunts more into the inside. It's almost like spying him in the middle. It ends up having him right there. You'd think he'd have a chance to get a sack, his first of the year. He had 10 last year. But instead, Arnold at least gave himself a chance, but that defensive front just has dominated the line of scrimmage tonight.
And this offense that didn't reach 200 yards in any of their first 3 games. First time in 10 years they've gone back-to-back games without 200 yards passing. They have just 54 so far. Flag down on the return. This Oklahoma defense has been asked to do so much. They picked the flag up and had to do it pretty well. But now with Tennessee getting the ball to start the second half, trying to add to the lead and go for the old daily double. Not if OU can help it. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Road tested, game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven.
You know, as a play caller for Josh Heupel, when you know your defense is playing the way they are, this has not been a typical first half, but all of a sudden you start to have even more confidence, willing to take a few more chances because you know the way that defensive front is holding OU's offense in check.
It's a first down run. It's been a quiet night so far for Dylan Sampson. Picks up a couple there.
Linebackers and safeties continue to get involved in the run game. It cost them on the touchdown pass where they were all into the backfield on second and short.
Short pitch to the edge, and they got Squirrel White contained for a couple of yards. Lewis Carter there. Third down. Holly?
Well, guys, remember John Campbell, the starting right tackle, has gone out with injury. So Dane Davis, who started at left tackle tonight, has gone back over to right. And now they're down to their third string left tackle right now, Larry Johnson, because Lance Hurd is out. So they are going deep into the bench right now. They have struggled on the front to get a push since this change has happened.
And Holly, he is a big man, 6'7", 350 pounds at left tackle now.
Sophomore, Hutchinson Community College transfer. They need 9. And the Sooners swarm them, knock the ball loose. They fall on it. For the second time tonight, Iamaleava hit, fumbles, and it's a takeaway. Exactly what Oklahoma needed.
Well,
Trace Ford made the hit.
Right on cue with Holly's report, Oklahoma sets up a one-on-one because of walking those linebackers up yet again with the blitz look in the middle. And when you create these one-on-ones, Trace Ford has the quickness, 6'2", 252 pounds, to be able to get around Dane Davis, who normally is that right tackle. What a good job of not just trying to blow up the quarterback, but using the hand, knowing where the football is, and knocking it away. Davis, he's the right tackle, but he's been playing every snap over at left tackle. And one of the very first plays, he's back at right tackle. He goes up against that blitz, and Ford gets around him.
Man, do they do a great job of punching the ball loose. That's been the MO for the last few years around here. Ford knocked it out. Grayson Halton falls on it. OU set up inside the 35. Off the fake, Arnold makes a long sideline throw. The pressure enough to affect it. Still a live ball.
That's a lot, yeah. Yeah, they have not. Yeah, it's
not a forward pass.
That's Tennessee football.
Jacoby Thomas has come up with it, and again, Oklahoma handed a turnover, but the defense gives it back.
Yeah.
Ryan Reagans was the receiver.
That's right on the line. I mean, he's throwing it at about the 39-yard line. Standing at 38, now he's at the 39. Throws it from there. See where this football lands. It's thrown from the 39. Oh, that's really close.
I think it's actually slightly forward.
It may be.
First, they'll take a look at it. Naked eye, I thought it was an incompletion. I was surprised they do that, but they sometimes rule it a live ball in case it was a backwards pass. They want the play to play out. But Jordan Craddock is the replay official. There's another look at it.
Yeah, this is the all-22 right here, right at the 39. Defender pressuring him, forces him to get that ball out.
Now that ball was actually closer to the 38 maybe when it came out of his hand. That is really close.
Yeah, that angle gives it a...
Is it clear and obvious enough to overturn the call on the field, a backwards pass and Tennessee recovery?
You know, I'm not a fan of calls standing, but this one's going to stand, gentlemen.
Actually hit the ground first.
Bill, just out of curiosity, what if it's straight, just completely parallel?
Straight across is a backward pass.
Okay, then I think it could be that, right? How do you flip it? We're all sitting here looking at it. I don't know how you look at any one of these views and turn it over.
Matt Leffler looking at the monitor, conferring with the replay center. Jordan Craddock is here in Norman as the replay official in this crew.
And as you said, if this holds up, another blown
After
opportunity.
review, the ruling on the field stands. It's a backward pass recovered by the defense.
That's the second time tonight we've had back-to-back fumbles. Tennessee gives one up. Oklahoma gives it right back. That'll officially be scored a fumble.
Yeah, this is a 12-3 game, by the way. I mean, you're at the 5-yard line after a fumble. The next play, Jackson Arnold fumbles it back. And now this, I guess, technically is considered a fumble because of a lateral pass after another opportunity after the play that Trace Ford made.
You got to give Dominic Bailey credit for the forced fumble. He's the guy that pressured Arnold. And, man, this is a lot for this young guy to shake off in their SEC opener.
3 turnovers all on Jackson Arnold, unfortunately.
See if his counterpart, Iamaleava, can make them pay. Sampson has had very little room to run. Sooners have really held up in run defense
It's
tonight.
one of those things, right? How many times can you ask this defense to hold up against this offense?
Apparently one more.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard enough to just play them even. You're going to give them 3 more opportunities in the first half alone against this quarterback and this potential of how they strike downfield?
Sampson, spin move, and he moves inside the 40. Stopped a couple more yards short of the marker. Oh, your point's a great one. Again, Tennessee gets the ball to start the third quarter, already up by 9. And as well as they played, as hard as they played, it seems almost crucial for Oklahoma to get a stop right here.
Yeah, this is their 3rd drive where they've started in Oklahoma territory.
Oklahoma, one of those teams that had not trailed for a single minute through their first 3 games. They played 2 tight ones, The first time they're behind this season. They don't want to get farther behind. And first down, Sampson, he likes that spin move, and that's why he's been so successful through the first 3 games. Very hard to tackle. Malone finally got him, picked up 11.
Yeah, the versatility of this offense. You think about, we got another player down, Oklahoma player down. Looks like that might be Terry again. But you think about this offense, it's typically spread out when attack downhill. This time they get behind, show you that they can get physical. 3 backs, if you include the 2 tight ends in that backfield, almost as fullbacks. They get, number 6 gets right behind there. Sampson, and that spin move, like you said, man, he kept those legs moving. He is a fun running back to watch in this system.
First year as a featured back. Comes out of Baton Rouge. Didn't really consider going to Tennessee until Heupel got the job. There was too much instability, he told me. As soon as Heupel got the job, he visited, was really impressed by kind of the family atmosphere, Heupel's connection with players. Also a chance to play on an elite team. And
yeah,
Dylan, a guy that has gained size and strength. He's built himself into being a featured back in this conference, and it's showing, although he's getting a lot of help tonight from Bishop.
Yeah, here we have Terry being helped off. You're right, and I think if I'm a high school running back in this system, it's really built around their ability to, they're going to stretch you horizontally, make you respect, and the defense has to go out there with you. Then it creates an opportunity inside the line of scrimmage in that box area to be able to run the football. This offense has to have that thumper to make defenses have to respect that aspect of it. So I talked about already twice they've started inside OU territory, only come away with 3 points. It's the 3rd time they start in here. OU's defense is held up. See if they can do it again.
Sampson still in there. Longest run tonight for Tennessee has been just 12 yards. Sampson this time met quickly in the hole by Spears Jennings up from the safety spot.
Josh Heupel in no hurry. He's thinking the same thing that you mentioned. They have a potential of this double dip, winning the score right before the half, getting the ball back and trying to put 14 points up on the board.
And a hammer away with Sampson. It is short gain. It'll set up 3rd down and about 5. The ability to play in hyper speed, but also kind of slow things down tactically and still execute well. A lot of teams that play with tempo don't execute well when they slow it down. These guys can do both. 4 receiver look. Yamaliava on the pitch. Sampson knocked down, but he gets a first down. Another tackle by Spears Jennings, but they're in the red zone.
Just talking about the versatility of this. What a call. They're in man coverage. You'll see this with a corner. Great time to call, speed option. Deliver it. Look at the corner following the receiver. A great alley. Love the call by Josh Heupel. They don't run it a lot. Save it for the 3rd down. Anticipate man coverage. You see it. Pitch it off the end. No one there to pick up the back. Good call.
Spears Jennings, one of their best defenders tonight, left the game to have a shoulder checked out.
At some point with OU, do you think about the timeouts? You got the 2-minute timeout coming here.
And they'll let it run right down. So Tennessee playing slowly at the moment, but trying to stretch this lead before halftime. Threatening. 2 minutes to go.
Be Wendy's.
2 minutes in the first half, Tennessee threatening to add to this 9-point lead. Dylan Sampson was fresh before this drive. He's carried it all 6 plays for Heupel's offense so far, and he smells blood back in his home state here. Chance to add a touchdown here, get the football back, and perhaps deliver an early knockout to Oklahoma. Defense needing to rise up one more time.
Blitz off to his right with that corner.
Sampson again breaks a tackle. Dylan Sampson into the secondary and down to the 1 as they deliver some serious body shots now. 16 more.
How about the contact balance right there? What a job of shaking off that would-be tackler by Sampson.
Spins free. Stutzman tried to grab him in the backfield. They do stop him just short of the goal line. Now is it a late signal on the far side? So one official start to signal touchdown. They're having a conference. Oh, the graphic says so. The band is playing. And it is a touchdown. Sampson got into the end zone barely.
Well, they changed their tempo when they came out of that timeout. There's Stutzman right there, has a chance to make a play. His knee is still up. Yeah, I don't think he ever touched the ground. So that is a touchdown with that good effort, again, by Dylan Sampson. What a different, kind of like I said, they're working that clock, coming out of that timeout. They turn it up.
Sampson's 10th rushing touchdown. We said it had been mostly Deshaun Bishop tonight. And this was a dude with fresh legs that just got unleashed on that drive. And that is a crushing moment for Oklahoma. He hadn't allowed a rushing touchdown until that one right there. And at a quarterback who's really struggling, young guy that's got 3 turnovers in the first half. This feels like a pretty big hill to climb.
Yep. And we see at a break, we saw their backup warming up for Oklahoma, Michael Hawkins. Whether he comes in or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Gilbert on for the PAT. And the man named Sampson, in fact, showing his strength and power. 8 straight carries for 46 on the touch.
Let's take a look at the AT&T clicker. Stutzman right here. This is how you draw it up if you're trying to play goal line stand. I mean, look at the penetration, right? I mean, that's it. That's the All-American linebacker. You're going to make a play, but give credit to, again, Sampson with that spin move that he is becoming well known for. Spins out of that, and then the leg drive keeps his body up and scores a touchdown. The last 2 runs were fantastic by him. He had a couple on that drive.
You're a wizard of the control. Which button is the spin move? He's got that down.
In my days, that was like the circle. That was the circle. Now they have 32 buttons. I'm having a hell of a time with the new game.
You're sounding your age all of a sudden.
I know. They got the index finger, the pinkies, got everything going. I used to use left thumb, the D-pad.
Whatever button is, he pushed it in that drive about 3 or 4 times. And we're going to see what the decision is, between Venables and Seth Littrell as offensive coordinator. Is he going to stick with Arnold, or is he going to send out the freshman Michael Hawkins from Emerson High School in Dallas?
12 career snaps, all against Temple in the opener. St. Temple tonight.
It feels a little different than that opener. Well, you want to play big-time college football under the lights against the elite defenses in this conference. Michael Hawkins, welcome to college football, the SEC level.
Good look at his eyes.
Down by 16.
The teeth of that defense.
And right on cue, mishandles the snap.
Well, I don't know if the snap was great for him there. Yeah, it was way to his right. He was lucky to somehow get back on to that football. And now you're thinking about, if you're Oklahoma, just keep working the clock. He got his right hand on it, stopped it from going by him.
Branson Hickman's experienced, but he's a little rusty. He's coming back again from that injury.
First snap of the game, too.
So behind the 6 on 2nd and 14, and Michael Hawkins takes off. Slippery skips a tackle there and makes it 3rd and 5 now. I don't know what the decibel meter that Holly's got reads right now. This place has gotten very quiet, except for the folks in orange.
Yeah, they're doing the right thing here, working the play clock down. Surprised Tennessee didn't use a couple of timeouts, knowing how aggressive they are. Josh Heupel standing now right by the official. They get a stop here. He's going to hit it.
Hawkins chased. Trying to make something happen on the move, and will skip out of bounds. 15 seconds to go. That does stop the clock without the timeout. And Heupel's offense will have one more chance in this half to potentially strike deep and add to the lead.
Yeah, and Hawkins is young. He's running for his life. By getting out of bounds, Tennessee's able to hold on if it matters, hold on to both their timeouts, 15 seconds. And with this offense, how quickly they strike, you just never know. They may just work the clock here and get out of here, but then again, with Heupel, you may take a shot.
Squirrel White back to receive Elzinga's punt. It's a pretty good one. Line drive, and White retreats, makes an over-the-shoulder grab, and stumbles down at the 10-yard line. That will probably dictate the play selection from here on out. Kevin Negandhi in the studio. Halftime coming up very soon.
Chris Ford, halftime report on the way. Booger McFarland, Kevin Negandhi here. Arch Manning in action. First career start as #1 Texas. We'll have the highlights as well as the Heisman favorite Cam Ward in Miami playing right now. Are you surprised by this decision by Oklahoma?
The problem is not Jackson Arnold. I think the problem is up front. Their 5 offensive linemen are getting whooped by the Tennessee defensive line. Changing quarterbacks seem really weird right now by Coach Venables.
Tennessee offense coming out right now. Of course, a top 10 team went into double overtime. They survived. Highlights coming your way. Chris, Herbie, back to you.
Look forward to it. This will be a Tennessee kneel down. Of course, the Volunteers will get the football after the break. Interesting point that Booger brought up. Maybe Jackson Arnold will be reinserted to start the second half. Just kind of get him out there for a series to settle his head, talk to him at the break.
Yeah,
interesting to see what they do.
Will be because it's been everybody, not just the offensive line. It's been Arnold's decision making. Haven't been able to settle in. Haven't been able to get their running game going in. I think they all have contributed to where they are right now as an offense. And give Tennessee's defense a lot of credit. I mean, not a shock that their defensive line is an outstanding group, and they've shown that dominance tonight with the depth, rotating a lot of bodies.
Oklahoma's defense forced 2 fumbles in the first half. Each time OU fumbled it back, it was the quarterback Arnold on the very next play. Let's go to Holly with Josh Heupel.
Coach, you've had a shuffle on your offensive line, some turnovers. How do you get your rhythm and composure back on offense?
Yeah, different structure than what they had shown. Guys adjusted. We got to play smarter. Penalties, the turnovers, just settle in. End of the day, we're playing efficient. Love how our defense is playing.
Even though Jackson Arnold led them in rushing, this new quarterback uses his legs in a different way. How do you adjust?
Yeah, be ready for either one of them. Both of them have the ability to run. So we got to do a good job, play smart, hard, physical football here in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Did a lot of that very well in the first half. Tennessee allowing Oklahoma 82 yards of offense in the first half. They lead it by 16 at the break. Heupel's homecoming so far has been pleasant. End of the first half in Norman. Ford halftime report coming up after these messages. You're watching the SEC on ABC. Homecoming for the favorite son. Josh Heupel so far has been a pleasant one. He's spoiling Oklahoma's SEC debut. What a disastrous second quarter, Kirk, for the Oklahoma team. They had a safety. They had a couple of fumbles. They had minus 19 yards of offense. Now the defense got to try to hold on right here with the Vols getting the football.
Yeah, Tennessee was able to punch it in before the half. Now they get the football back, and we'll see what kind of adjustments. Let's face it, Tennessee's, early part of this game, they were facing a pretty good challenge. Oklahoma played actually pretty well, and yet the Vols still have over 200 yards of offense and on pace for close to 40 points. And that's playing good. Think about that. Speaks about the 3 turnovers that you mentioned.
Schmidt's kickoff is returnable. And here comes Cameron Seldon. Chooses to just make a fair catch. Tonight's Sonic drive-in recap.
It's all about the Vols and this defense. Defensive front has been on fire. They've put a lot of pressure on Jackson Arnold. This was a really big turnover for Tennessee. Right after their own offense fumbled, they get Arnold to fumble it back. Here's the safety with great penetration. Again, applying the pressure on Arnold again, hitting him. Even when they don't get the turnovers, they have hit him and hit him often. So they've won the line of scrimmage, and really the offensive line started to win the line of scrimmage late in that first half. There was Arnold. We're curious whether he or the true freshman Hawkins will come back out once Oklahoma gets the ball.
Iamaleava, one nice touchdown strike to Thornton. Other than that, he's been workmanlike and efficient and handed the ball off a lot in the Tennessee ground game. Punishing performance at the end of the half. They hand it off, and Kip Lewis makes the stop.
I think they did a great job of being patient. Josh Heupel only 7 runs, 7 yards in the first quarter. Came back in the second quarter when they had control of the game. 21 run calls for 71 yards.
Sampson's got it again. He was the man on that drive, carried it every time. He moved down the field in the first couple carries of the second half.
Great to see John Campbell back in this lineup for this Tennessee offense. When he went down, I think a lot of us were holding our breath. Good to see him back in there.
Empty backfield on 3rd and 5. Sooners crowding the line, and now they'll stop and take a look. Plenty of time in the play clock. They're doing that helmet communication right now to Iamaleava.
These linebackers have been walking in those A-gaps all night, showing and dropping, sometimes showing and bringing it.
Iamaleava bobbled the snap, collects it, delivers a pitch along the near sideline, and it's a first down catch by Holden Stays.
Well, we just talk about accuracy with these two young quarterbacks. That was really well done by Nico there, where he uses his footwork, avoids a little bit of pressure, patient, and then puts it out in front of the receiver.
Fake it to Sampson, pitch it on the edge. Brew McCoy shows his strength as he powers ahead. Des Malone forces him out after a pickup of about 7.
He has the option there to either hand that off, or if the corner is bailing on the receiver, just throw it out instead to Brew McCoy. Stayed on the ride, kept his eyes out there on that corner. The corner bailed. Des Malone backed out, so he just takes the easy throw. Why run it when you can get 7 or 8 with a quick throw? Boy, he has such command, man. We framed this early in the game. How is this young quarterback going to handle this atmosphere? Done a heck of a job so far.
Hand it off to Sampson inside. He spins again. This time stopped just short of the marker.
Man, it's hard to get a handle on him, isn't it?
Iamaleava, Kirky, wears number 8 because he's one of 8 children, 3rd oldest, and also because Marcus Mariota, of course, the Heisman Trophy winner at Oregon, a role model, a beacon really for many quarterbacks of Polynesian descent.
Yep.
It was old Big Nico.
They did give him the first down there. It was very close. Oklahoma rotating, trying to get some fresh bodies in there with Tennessee rotating.
Sampson again, this time met in the backfield by Trace Ford, man who forced to fumble earlier.
They brought both the outside backers here. Nobody has a chance to react, bringing them both, taking a chance here, rolling the dice a little bit. And the guard who's pulling that time, Karek, doesn't have a chance to be able to pick up the speed there. Hey, Trace Ford's been playing.
So Tennessee behind the 6, facing pressure on 2nd and 14. Iamaleava sees a man open and finds him. Thornton, who scored earlier. A second huge chunk play down inside the 10, but there is a flag down, a couple of them way back near the line of scrimmage, and it's coming back.
Yeah, it looks like a hold in the backfield.
Holding on the offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
It's Karich, Texas transfer. Negates a 50-yard play.
Because we're just learning about this quarterback. It's right in the middle of the screen, 70 there, Karich on the hold. Especially once he felt that pressure from Stutzman. There's actually a hold on the right there from Spraggins on Stutzman's blitz. I just love how he feels it, keeps his vision downfield, feels pressure, doesn't panic, avoids it, and then eventually finds open people to make big plays when they separate.
So it's 2nd and 24. Crowd trying to come back into it, help this OU defense. Handoff inside. Very conservative call. Peyton Bowen makes the stop on Sampson. And it'll be 3rd and extra long now, 19.
Iamaleava tonight. And this is his first big test. He started a bowl game, started in Charlotte against NC State. Here we are, first SEC game for Oklahoma. Environment very, very hostile, especially early. Forget about the numbers. He's going to put up numbers. I just want to see him handle the pressure, handle the noise, deal with the 3rd downs, and again playing with such poise.
3 receivers off to his right. He's on the move. Retreating, and we'll just throw it away. So a good sequence for Oklahoma's defense that time. Grayson Holton on the chase.
Yeah, this is what you call plaster when a quarterback gets outside and breaks contain. Plaster as in defensive backs have got to do a good job of staying with those receivers downfield. There's nowhere to go with that football. Great coverage, great job of sticking with those receivers when he got outside, broke contain. All he could do was throw it away.
Peyton Bowen standing inside his 20 to receive the punt from Ross. Another low rugby style boot, and Bowen retreats, slips, eludes one man, takes a shot, and is finally knocked out of bounds at the 16-yard line. So it looks like Jackson Arnold has the helmet on, and the starter will go back in the game trying to rally this football team.
Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. I'm Holly Rowe. Brent Venables said the turnovers were a big factor on why he made a quarterback change in the first half, and he is going to stick with the true freshman Michael Hawkins here in the second half. He said it was the turnovers, but also stuff has to run on time in our offense. We have timing plays, things that have to happen, and it just wasn't on time. He also said the turnover margin is a big factor. They're up 1 for Tennessee. That's unusual for OU.
So it is Hawkins, the true freshman, handing the ball off to Sam Franklin. His dad, Michael Hawkins Sr., played corner here at Oklahoma under Bob Stoops, so a legacy player, a 4-star recruit out of Dallas, known a lot as a running quarterback.
Yeah, it really limits what you could do with a young quarterback like this. I'm sure he's got a ton of talent, but it's just he hadn't seen it, right? He'd seen it in practice, but now here he is, big stage, running the football, and the throws will have to be quick or he'll scramble.
From the pocket, retreating into the end zone, and just throws it away. Pressured again by Bryson Eason, but just nobody open. It's 3rd and 13.
And we can talk timing all we want with Brent Venables talking to Holly. But as we knew coming in, we talked about it in the open, we talked about it throughout the entire game. If the offensive line doesn't help the quarterback, it doesn't help in the running game, makes it very difficult on anybody you put back there in any offense. And it's been a long night for this offensive line against this front from Tennessee.
You know, Seth Luttrell gave a message to Arnold: manage the game, take care of the football. Didn't do that. 3 turnovers, and now Hawkins gets his chance, and that's Deion Burks trying to help him out, making a play, but they cannot convert on 3rd and long, and here comes the punt team.
OU defense did their job to get the stop in a 19-3 game and gets the ball back to Oklahoma. They go 3 and out. Ball's defense continues to be dominant in this game.
And Oklahoma still sitting there at 87 yards. Basically nothing since the first quarter. And given up 2 points. And Tennessee, meanwhile, 18 straight quarters without allowing an offensive touchdown. That's like the longest streak in decades. Will the Sooners find the end zone tonight? You go back to the Vanderbilt regular season finale. They basically gave up a touchdown in garbage time and a big win. Nothing in the bowl game and nothing so far in 2024.
So impressive.
Wow.
Incredible. You think of Heupel, you think of offense. It's the Venables defense.
Saturday Night Football, presented by Capital One, is brought to you by Tacobas. Don't go gently.
Now the Volunteers and the Sooners both knocked off Florida State within a 3-year span to win BCS championship. Look at the photo here. There's old Seth Luttrell, the fullback, 35. Josh Heupel, all smiles. Brent Venables, his first year as an assistant coach, coincided with Heupel's arrival. That was a sweet moment. They smothered Chris Weinke in that high-powered Seminoles offense. Remember Stoops up in the upper left there being so mad that they blew the shutout by the bad snap on the punt. It was 13-2. Classic down there in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, remember Mark Richt had taken the Georgia job. He was the offensive coordinator for Florida State, and it was a big story.
It's one of the best defensive performances in a championship game ever in the history of this sport.
That 98 Tennessee team, boy, How much fun were they? The year after Peyton moved on, T. Martin gets it done.
Deshaun Bishop, he watched Sampson be the workhorse near the end of the half in the first series of the third quarter. He's back in there.
When I think of that 98 team, the first thing I think about, Sean Bryson on a touchdown against Florida to lock up that win.
It's a downfield throw. It's McCoy, and he's got it. Beautiful ball. Veteran receiver stretching out, and they're deep in Oklahoma territory again.
Boy, they max protect. They put 8 offensive, you include the 5 offensive linemen and 2 tight ends and a back, and he has time. He's got the confidence to make this throw. The safeties were up with that jumbo look, and they take advantage, take a shot downfield and hit it.
43-yard chunk right there, right back to the ground. Yamali Albuquerque, I mean, has it been perfect? No, he got hit and fumbled the ball on the blind side there, but I mean, it's a pretty high grade for his first road start in a tough environment against the salty defense.
Yeah, and again, I don't even care. I'm 11-15, 182, and it's only going to get better and better. But it's, again, the way he's managing the game, the vision that he has on his defense. It's been aggressive. When he's had his shots, he's given his receivers a chance. He's been great. Here comes the blitz right here.
Yeah, he runs right into the teeth of it, and Bishop stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
You know, if you can go on the road in the SEC and play where you're not turning the ball over, you're playing smart, and you're giving your offense a chance. I mean, first time, I think anybody of us who talked with him, you and I talked, and it's like, boy, this guy's super poised, super mature. And he even said all week, I've always loved playing on the road. I love the us against the world mentality. But he's a flatliner emotionally. He is very, very chill. He's not letting the circumstances early in this game affect him. He's been patient.
Bishop not much again as Lewis Carter knocked him down. Tennessee already up 16 here. Trying to deliver the dagger, but kind of interesting call there. They're going to bring out Max Gilbert for a field goal to make it a 19-point game. Not as aggressive as you might expect Josh to be.
I would have thought, boy, after that big pass, I thought they would have really attacked there, but instead a little conservative, and they're going to have to settle for 3.
Gilbert good on a chip shot earlier. It's from 41. All 3 phases. Very, very solid for Tennessee tonight, and the lead is 19 midway third quarter in Norman.
The standard at Tennessee is to be elite on defense. This is the home of Reggie White, Al Wilson, Eric Berry.
Could have kept going.
Oh, yeah.
Hacksaw Reynolds. But there's a lot of dudes way back in the day who played a lot of years in the NFL. And that point's been driven home.
I love it.
To the Volunteers players, to recruits. They want to come and join this side of the football because it's easy for him to recruit offensive players, frankly.
Yep.
They are showing a strong defensive personality tonight in their SEC opener. Boy, Oklahoma, even when set up in good field position at the 5 after the fumble recovery, just not able to punch it in here.
Think about that. Last 6 drives, Oklahoma doesn't have a first down. You know, I start to look at this defense, and early in the year it was about the defensive line with the experience and the depth, and the linebackers in the secondary, a lot of new faces. How are they going to come together? You start looking at them now, after watching them 3 or 4 weeks, you start talking about big picture. Is this a championship caliber defense to go along with Nico and that offense? The answer is absolutely.
And so Michael Hawkins Jr. sprinting out, took a hand up near the helmet. I don't see it. Now they're going to throw a flag. There wasn't one. It came in late. Arian Carter was chasing him. They grabbed the face mask.
Yeah, they got the right call. I mean, it was just a little bit delayed. The fans were reacting. I think Joseph's got his hand up close to not close, on the face mask. Got airborne, and then that left hand wrapped around.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. Number 7, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
It was 19 Joshua Josephs there.
They got a first down, not the way they wanted it, but the penalty does end that drought of 6 possessions without one.
You know, another aspect I talked about earlier, they don't have explosives. Haven't had explosives all year. 115th in a country in plays of 20 yards or longer. They don't have one tonight.
Nope.
The greatest gain is 17 yards. Hard to drive the ball against this caliber of defense every time you have it. I mean, you can ask
17-yard run. A 12 yards is the longest pass.
Yeah, right. You can ask this offensive line to be able to handle this defensive line for 12 plays per drive. That is not going to happen. You need some big plays.
Still searching. Hawkins delivers. Another one of those underneath throws, and Thompson makes the catch. Going to be third down. Holly?
Well, to your point about the depth on this defense, Tim Banks has a luxury. He has got 6 defensive linemen and 6 edges. That's 12 guys he can roll in. Not just any 12 guys, 12 that he trusts, and we're seeing them do that. They're fresh and ferocious. Kirk, you're making a great point because they can just keep rolling in quality depth.
And this defense just comes downhill, and a third down run goes nowhere as Tyree West makes the stop. There's some grumbling now in the locals.
And to kind of finish off the point of Holly, when you have that kind of depth, guys like West are able to stay healthy and fresh. I mean, look at him. It has been a hot day. The humidity, my favorite, the dew point, incredibly high. And these guys are bouncing around here with 4:30 to go in the third quarter like they're playing early in this game, and it's because of the depth that again, Holly just referenced.
You know what helps, too? Get them off the field quickly. Oklahoma's only run 41 plays so far tonight. Punt fair caught at the 15-yard line. There is a flag down back near the line of scrimmage. People were curious about this Tennessee team. The competition wasn't very stout early. The one Power 5 team, a ranked team at the time of kickoff, NC State, looks like they're going to have a rough season. This is a resounding
Personal
statement
foul,
here.
face mask, kicking team, number 44. The penalty being forced from the end of the kick. First down.
It'll move the football up to the 30. We'll check in with Kevin Nagandi in the studio.
Chris, time now for our Chick-fil-A move on the field. You guys saw what happened to Lenore Sellers against LSU last week. So the backup, Robbie Ashford, getting the start for South Carolina. 38 yards on the ground to the house. 3 total touchdowns versus Akron right now. Gamecocks up 36-7 early in the 4th on ESPNU. Back to you.
Sellers part of that same quarterback class as Iamaleava and Jackson Arnold, and it was a promising start to his career. Went down with that injury. We certainly hope he can bounce back.
Well, he gave him every chance before he went down last week against LSU.
Sampson stopped behind the line. Dominic Williams, this OU defense still playing hard.
They are. Yeah, just like Tennessee, I mean, this defensive front, they have been aggressive from word go. It's tough to do against this style of offense that Josh Heupel runs. They spread you from sideline to sideline.
And bursting through a crease, and Sampson that time stopped about 5 yards short. Josh Heupel, not normally one to throttle it back, even when he's got a lead. He's got you on the ropes, and a little bit of that here.
I'm impressed with it. I mean, it's not about by how many you win by. It's just playing smart. And I think he's been patient tonight. You know, he's eventually going to take some shots here before it's over. But he's managing this clock. He's got a young quarterback who's managing the game. You know, his defense, the way they're playing, there's no reason to panic or hurry or feel like you got to be super aggressive here. Just keep working that clock and keep playing smart.
No, certainly no reason to panic. I just think that they haven't really stopped the pass game. There's another completion. They'll move the sticks into OU territory.
But you know how he is. He's going to kind of lull you to sleep. Hey, guys, we're just working clock here. We're up 19, and then pop.
Look out.
Yep. Especially on a 1st and 10. So it's coming. You just don't know when it is. But I think the patience is great because you can still take your shots. Those safeties are starting to get a little nosy, getting down in there, trying to stop the run game.
They're still snapping with 16 seconds on the play clock. Another very high percentage throw to Bru McCoy. Picks up about 4 or 5.
I love to watch Heupel on the sideline as a head coach / play caller. Super. By the time the ball carrier's tackled, he's already got the next play called.
And there's that downfield strike into traffic. McCoy was well covered that time on the sidelines. Volunteers fans wanted a flag against the freshman Eli Bowen. There isn't one.
Good coverage there. I mean, look at Heupel. He already, whether it's a completion or an incompletion, he's already got his mind made up. Left hash. It's either 1st and 10 or it's going to be 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6. He's already communicating. Remember, he's got all the way to 15 seconds to be able to communicate until it goes off right now, which it does.
Fewer and fewer head coaches, programs Tennessee's magnitude, have retained play calling responsibilities. He loves it. Don't see him giving that up. Play clock at 1. They just get it off. Iamaleava escapes and now fires into the dirt, incomplete, and it's 4th down.
Another blitz from Oklahoma. Defense not giving in.
Kind of limped a little bit. Nico looked awkward going to the sidelines after that play.
That or just frustrated with himself.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. Perfectionist.
It's hard to be a perfectionist in sports and in life. Bowen knocked out of bounds, but when you play almost perfect, it's easier to be a perfectionist because he hadn't had a lot to criticize himself tonight. WNBA playoffs get underway tomorrow. 4 games on ESPN and ABC. 1 o'clock Eastern, Atlanta against the New York Liberty. Top regular season record. Caitlin Clark in Indiana take on Connecticut. Holly Rowe will be zipping from here, working very hard in that game tomorrow.
What a story she's been.
She asked me, Holly did, have you ever see Caitlin Clark play in person? I have not yet. And she said, you have to see it in person because it's even more impressive what she does.
Look at the
moving
assists.
Around the court.
Everybody talks about her with those long shots, 19 points, but the 8 assists is great. But she's created quite a buzz. Set the record for rookie assists.
Yeah. Hawkins zips it across the middle, and that's Bowers sharp. That'll be the longest pass play of the night for Oklahoma, 13 yards.
Gutsy call there, right into the middle of that defense. Throws it on a line there. Good job finding the big tight end.
Still a 2-back look, and they hand it off to Barnes, who's met in the backfield. You hear him yelling all the way up here. It's Jackson Moy, Stanford transfer.
Yeah, watch Moy here. We'll talk about what kind of night it's been. This kind of shows you what kind of night it's been. Just pushing Hickman right into the backfield. That's why he came up fired up, and I don't blame him.
Cricket talked about the penetration, the troubles this Oklahoma offensive line. Get this stat. 23 rushing plays. They've been hit at or behind the line of scrimmage 16 of the 23. That's wild. But yards before contact, 0. Look out. Hawkins is going backwards, and he's dropped for a big loss. Jason Jenkins joins the party. They lose 16.
Good job of disguising the pressure, just trying to affect this offensive line, giving them different looks here, and then at the line, as the ball is snapped, you end up dropping, affect that communication, end up shooting right through 55. Norman Lott, who's their best interior pass rusher, nobody, because of that confusion, picks him up.
With their longest pass play of the night, then they go backwards 16 yards. Hawkins trying to scramble and knocked down at the 30 in what's going to be the last play of the third quarter. Volunteers tack on a field goal and stretch the lead 22-3 at the end of third here in Norman. Back. set for the fourth quarter. You're watching the SEC on ABC. Drop down to a cool 84 degrees. Goodyear providing the aerial coverage tonight, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Volunteers and their young quarterback most certainly ready for the road here tonight. And force an Oklahoma punt, and we'll get the football back here to begin the final period. White will let this one bounce out of bounds. The rankings, the AP brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Of course, Idle this weekend, number 2 Georgia, number 4 Alabama, colliding in Tuscaloosa next week.
How about Missouri today, getting by Vanderbilt in overtime? Tennessee making a statement on the road here tonight in our game. Well, look at Miami. That had a potential of being maybe a hiccup. I think we're
pulling away now. Yeah,
I think with Cam Ward, we got to start really paying attention to Miami out of the ACC.
Finally, Bama, Texas, and Mississippi will open next week in the SEC.
Yep. SEC, a lot of teams up there in the top 10.
Doesn't figure to change after today. Bishop patiently picks his way for a couple yards off the right. I'm going to take a guess here that most folks have figured out that College Game Day by the Home Depot will be, in fact, in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Nick will be fired up, huh?
Yeah. Well,
back there for this game.
Yeah, that's going to be quite a scene, quite an entire week of buildup for that game on ESPN and all over the place. Everybody's going to be excited to see Kirby and the Bulldogs come into Tuscaloosa. What a treat.
And making a nice little cut and skipping for a first down. Bishop shown himself to be an excellent complement to Dylan Sampson tonight, and Holden Stays, nice block on the edge for a pickup of 17.
Yeah, Stays had a nice game tonight, blocking out of the backfield, lined up almost in that H-back, fullback position to transfer from Notre Dame. Also the right side of that offensive line with Davis Spraggins, a really good block.
Play fake, Nico looking downfield, and it's a contested attempt there, way over the head though of Brazel, who's guarded by the true freshman Bowen. They spotted him over there, but the ball was overthrown. One of the few inaccurate throws he's made tonight.
Yeah, not many, but I think Bowen as a freshman, he's held his own when he's been out there on islands. I'm with you, Chris. Deshaun Bishop, what a compliment tonight, and maybe, you know, he and Sampson throw in Selden when he's healthy out there, and it's a nice stable. But tonight it's been Bishop for the most part spotting Sampson. They don't lose much when he's been in.
No. He's got it again. Redshirt freshman. He's right there from Knoxville. That time he's going to take a loss of a few yards. Jaron Kanik get in there. Some Oklahoma backups getting a chance to play, and they're still playing hard. You'd expect that from a Brent Venables team. Tennessee, one thing they haven't been great at tonight is third downs. They're 5 of 15, so not what they expect. Oklahoma has been a stout team defending on third down. The problem is that Volunteers often haven't needed to get to third down. And they keep it on the ground, and Bishop spun backwards and takes another loss. And Walker helping out Holton on the tackle, and here comes the punt team. So another series without looking to, they took the downfield shot, the one long
yeah,
on the overthrow, but basically featuring the ground game and kind of grinding away on the clock.
Yeah, your defense is completely dominating the game, and yeah, occasionally take a shot, get back to run the football. Again, keep working that clock. Let your defense continue to dominate.
Boots it away. Bowen's going to try it. Escapes momentarily and is knocked down at the 32. Remember that time when the Sooner Schooner was out there? We did a game day commercial riding around in the back of that. There were some bruises. That's a rough ride, I'm going to say, with
bumpy
the ponies. Big time.
See.
College Football National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. And the ride aboard the Schooner there. 12-team playoff. A new era begins. Starts December 20th, concludes on January 20th. Hawkins a lot of time for a change until he was eventually pressured and delivers a ball to the dirt. Oh, this is going to be the third straight week that the SEC is going to have 6 of the top 7 in the poll. Only Ohio State not in the conference there, and Oklahoma, it took on number 6 tonight. They have games against number 1, number 4, number 5 coming up with the schedule. Yeah. Got baptized with a difficult schedule in year 1, that's for sure. It's a low throw caught by tight end Sharp.
Well, for 38 months, people talked about Oklahoma joining. This quick snap here.
Hawkins beginning to feel his way into this game here. That's a strike to Chris Pettaway, and he's got a nice gain.
Yeah, he wanted to go out, play side to the right, came off of that. Actually, by looking out to the right, he moved the linebackers, and a really nice job of just settling in there in the soft spot of the zone.
First catch of the year for Pettaway, picked up 17. Now he leaves the pocket and is going to be hit, knocked forward for a short gain.
Showing some courage against his defense because they are not slowing down. That was Christian Charles on a blitz. They ended up bringing him down, chasing him down from behind. This kid's showing a little moxie to me. And with that threat with his legs, he's looking downfield. He's not necessarily panicking, but he's showing you that he can keep a play alive, give you a shot at least.
5 of 7. 53 yards. 1 yard short of what Arnold had before he was removed before halftime. Big fella bouncing off the man. Bowers Sharp. Southeast Louisiana transfer, close to the marker to be second and third in a couple.
Sharp actually went to Southeast Louisiana as a quarterback and ends up moving to tight end. Now gets an opportunity through the portal at OU.
Going to throw forward on 3rd and short, and a long pitch to the sidelines is caught for a first down by Zion Reagan.
And he got hit late. So that's going to be 15 on top of that beautiful throw there by the freshman Hawkins. Took a big hit.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 90 on the defense. The penalty being forced from the end of the play, half the distance. First down.
Takes a lot of courage to come in here and knowing that this defensive line is going to tee off on this offensive line and get after you. And this Bailey right there does a nice job with his hands and then just doesn't hold up after the ball is out. So a great throw, vision, always focused downfield. Didn't allow Bailey to affect him, even though he knew he was going to get hit.
Some of the young backup wide receivers for the Sooners making plays for Hawkins here. Can they find the end zone? Can they end Tennessee's streak of 19 consecutive quarters without allowing an offensive touchdown? He's retreating, and Hawkins just fires it into the bench, chased by Peely. Good idea to get rid of the ball when Peely is closing in on you.
Boy, Peely can run too, can he? For his size.
And he can definitely hit once he gets there.
I mean, he's 240 pounds moving around like that. Tough night for Jackson Arnold. The turnovers, the 3 turnovers, especially costly where they were on the field.
Javonte Barnes is the back here on 2nd and 10. Fake it to him. Hawkins back, pedals, still got it. Scampers ahead, heading for the end zone, and he'll be knocked down right near the goal line. Touchdown! Oklahoma finds the end zone and ends Tennessee's streak. And Michael Hawkins Jr. He's going to make it an interesting week around here and may come up short, but he has given the talk shows and the pundits a lot to talk about. They'll go for two here.
I mean, that play alone, look at this guy. He lowers his shoulder and takes this hit. He didn't try to slide. Those safeties are right there at the goal line. It's a linebacker, actually, Carter. He runs over top of the safety, Christian Harrison. What a play there. Showed a lot of courage, quickness,
Tell from that
toughness.
angle, Kirk, if the call was correct. Let's see if this down the line look shows the ball breaking the plane.
Progressive pylon cam. It was close.
Good look here.
Look at this guy picking up, accelerating right through contact. Was not intimidated at all by that defense.
It's a good point. He didn't hench, but he
No.
actually got faster as he got near those two safeties.
Right. And he's not the biggest guy. He's at about 195 pounds.
Showing a lot of heart.
By the way,
to make the most of his opportunity.
That's how you win a team over, when you're sitting here trying to figure out who's our quarterback for next week. You watch that in the film room, that this guy's fighting here in the fourth quarter down where it doesn't look very probable you're going to win, and then he lowers his shoulder and runs through that contact like that.
And one more look to see if the ball did break the plane as he plowed straight ahead into two tacklers. Again, ruled a touchdown eventually on the field. They'd have to see something clear and obvious to overturn it. They'll go for two here, it looks like.
Remember, his dad played here, played for Bob Stoops. You talked about that earlier. So
DB, yeah.
Imagine how his mindset and the way he was raised, and probably dreamt of an opportunity to play for this program his whole life, and he's taken advantage of his opportunity tonight. I just love a young guy that's willing to throw his body out there like that.
Michael Hawkins Sr., who said played for Stoops, taken in the 5th round by the Packers. See what the verdict is from Matt Leffler and this replay crew.
After review, the player was down at the 6-inch yard line. The ball be placed at that spot. First down.
I said they thought they saw something that said he's 6 inches short. Okay, well, it'll be 1st and goal. I don't think it'll matter a whole lot. Maybe they'll let him sneak it in there.
Yep. I don't know how you guys came up with 6 inches there.
I mean, and it was very hard to see whether the nose of the ball broke the plane or didn't. I didn't think there was enough to overturn it.
Yeah.
For now, for the moment, that streak is still alive there on the left. It'll take a lot to keep him out here. 1st and goal from, as we heard, 6 inches away. Hawkins, keeper all the way, and he's going to take a loss. Flying off the edge was Arian Carter, the starting linebacker, still out there.
Yeah, they just put him in center field. He just reads this. Little hesitation, but he's right here. He's just mirroring the quarterback. Can't imagine with the tight end pulling around. Probably should have gotten underneath that block. He ended up going wide. Carter said, I'll take that. We're no longer at the 6-inch line. Now you're at the 2-yard line.
But Tennessee bowing up here. I mean, you're up by 19 of the 4th. You got total control, but they do not want to let an offense strike Patriot against them at all. Hawkins flips it short, and it's caught for a touchdown by Barnes. And now Oklahoma officially does find the end zone and ends that streak. And they've cut it to 13, so figure they'll try to get within 11 here.
I know it's just the first few series, but I really like the offense. I like the style with 9 in there. I think it opens up the playbook because of his live legs. You can get out on the edge. You can help your offensive line that's still trying to grow together. It's a totally different package with 9 in there.
Go for Dose, brought to you by Dos Equis to make this an 11-point game. Hawkins flips it, and they convert. A flag comes in, caught by Pettaway. And let's see what it is. There's a Tennessee defensive lineman with his helmet off. Did they rip it off? And is that the flag there?
Yeah, probably hands to the face. The defensive player that's sitting there is West. And he's just sitting there clapping his hands, saying that one's coming back.
Personal foul. Hands to the face, number 76. Number 42 will be able to remain in the game. Try down.
So they'll kick the extra point.
Grinding 10-play, 68-yard drive. Another look at the penalty
at
here.
the bottom, hands up into the face, takes the helmet right off.
Excuse me, that's the touchdown. So here's the point after. But it was a 68-yard, 10-play drive, engineered by Hawkins. Made some nice throws. Made that diving run, put him on the doorstep, and then throws the touchdown pass. And the long conversion slides wide right. So they go for 2, taken off the board by the penalty, and then miss the PAT. And the lead will stay 13.
Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Taco Bell.
Sooners finally find the end zone, and that streak that reached all the way back to the Vanderbilt game at the end of last season is finally over. ESPN supporting the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week, celebrating great teachers across the country. Nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. Sheldon makes the fair catch. Allstate bus is here, keeping us more or less up with the action all day. What's your Allstate Good Hands play this weekend?
Well, after Jacoby Lane scored a touchdown for Miller Moss, USC had the lead, thought they were okay. How about Kalel Mullings? This is a 10-play, 89-yard drive. They had 8 runs on that drive. This was at 4:02 to go, under a minute. Mullings finishes it off in Michigan. What a win for Sharon Moore in Ann Arbor in the big house. They come back and get it done with Alex Orji stepping in at quarterback. Go back old school like Lee Corso picked on game day. Get physical at the line of scrimmage and win a game.
It was the Michigan man Desmond Howard's pick of USC that gave extra inspiration, no doubt, to the Wolverines.
Oh, yeah. I was shocked.
Malava hands off inside.
Maybe that was the plan all along.
The old reverse psychology.
Yeah. Maybe.
Alumni hero.
Maybe he got on the horn and said, Coach,
you know what? Yeah. Tight ends out. Orji hasn't shown me anything yet. Yeah. The master plan. That was an inspiring. Bo Schembechler loving that kind of drive.
It really was. Yep.
Maliava pitches it on the edge, and it's Miles gets someone knocked down. And it check the flag here. It's on the near side of the field. It's going to be on Tennessee.
Illegal touching on the offense, number 87. The player was covered up, caught the pass. It's a 5-yard penalty with the loss of down.
It's a formational mistake, not an eligible receiver. Heupel begs to differ.
Yeah, that receiver at the bottom needed to be off the line of scrimmage. He was on the line of scrimmage covering up the tight end. So the tight end, he needs to be back. See him on the line. So that takes away the tight end from being an eligible target.
Sets up a 3rd and 14. The Sooner crowd, it's impressive. They are hanging around here in 13-point game, still on their feet, trying to impact the offense. 3rd and long handoff inside. And Sampson knocked down short, and the Volunteers will punt it away. I think the offense is out there for the moment. I was going to say, Josh, Now we'll send the punt team out.
Kind of excited to see Michael Hawkins come out here again this next drive.
Well, Ross, you come all the way from Australia to Knoxville. You only punted twice in 3 games. You gotten a chance to exercise the right leg tonight. Boots it down there, and Nolan makes the catch and tries to make something happen, and it'll be forced out after a short gain. 47-yard punt, 6.5 to go. Sooners get the ball back down 13.
Football.
Things change, the more they remain the same.
Wilder goes back a century.
It's like Ali and Frazier. You go take what belongs to you.
Enjoyed the tease, the setup for that collision between the Dogs and the Tide down there. Quarterback comparison, similar stats for Beck and Milroe. Milroe's run it 6 times for a touchdown. Very clean game at Madison. Important for Alabama to have that game on the road. Clean up those penalties and turnovers before the big showdown. Hawkins, now he's pressured and brought down. This Tennessee front has not throttled back at all. And Jackson White, inked up. Came in from the Stanford Cardinal. He's enjoying every second of his time out there.
Boy, he's been relentless when he's had his opportunities to be out there. They continue to rotate those bodies like we talked about earlier to stay fresh. These guys are playing hard.
Hawkins trying to make something happen again outside the pocket, gets a block and scoots out of bounds. There's so much depth and so much talent. You get out there for a rep on the defensive line for Tennessee, you better try to make something happen.
Yeah,
it's hard.
I mean, with that kind of competition, that's the beautiful thing. You know, you hear coaches talk about that a lot. These guys all work so hard during practice year-round. And one way to really motivate them is to reward them and let them get opportunities. And this Tennessee defensive line definitely does that.
So Hawkins taking a long look to the sidelines here, needing 14 to get the first down. They bring pressure again, gets it away, but broken up underneath. Coming across was Will Brooks, the safety, to make that play, and it's 4th down.
How about this? They are not letting up. That time I think they brought 8. They didn't have enough to protect him, and they're just forcing him on that 3rd down and long to get the ball out. So the receivers, they can't get downfield before he's going to get hit. No chance of picking up a first down.
Offense out there right now. 2-score game, trying to come up with a magic comeback here. They need to convert this.
Look, here they're walking up again.
Oh, they roll the pocket out, trying to get some time, and a downfield pitch is over the head of Pettaway that time. He had him open, but on the run, a difficult throw, and the Vols will take over on downs.
Yeah, that was a nice route here by Pettaway. Watch how he gets behind the other receiver and then works outside. Well designed, just misses it, throws it upfield instead of a little more towards the boundary there.
Tim Banks, some strong years at Penn State coordinating the Nittany Lions. Stout defense comes down here to Tennessee. They had William Inge, who was the co-defensive coordinator for Huskies. Last year we saw Washington all the time. He's coaching the linebackers here. There he is right there, the professor with the specs on. Really interesting, unique dude.
Yeah, we were
talking to him.
We have Washington 5 times last year on their run to the national title game against Michigan.
I said, hey, where's Inge? I got to talk to him. Very interesting guy. On the slant there, incomplete, looking for Squirrel White. Says we have to have the best linebackers on the field tonight, knowing that Oklahoma's tandem, Stutzman and Lewis, are really good. And I think Peely, Arian Carter have certainly done a great job tonight.
Yeah, they really have. And the great thing, if you're Tennessee, what were the questions coming into this year? How the linebackers and how the secondary, they lost so much on that back end of the secondary. All the starters, the corners, nickel, a couple safeties. They just keep getting better with every game and every rep they get.
Opponents would say, wait a second, Kirk, the farther they get from the football, maybe Tennessee's a little bit more vulnerable, but certainly Jermon McCoy has played really well so far this season. Ricky Gibson on the other side.
Yep.
So where is the weakness, if there is one?
I don't think right now, after what are we, 4 games into the season now, because you're letting this secondary gain experience and gel and work together the way Peely's come on after missing last year. Don't forget Arian Carter. He is really getting better and better. His football IQ, I think, is improved so much from where he was a year ago.
Really, Tennessee's got the football here. We're talking about their defense. You know, that's not normal.
No.
It's a keeper by Iamaleava, who lowers his shoulder. He says, I'm going to keep these sticks moving.
Well, they called it short. That's what Josh Heupel was frustrated about.
I thought he had leaned that long body. Did he? Oh, he slipped.
And the knee goes down. Good call. Really good call.
Yeah.
That's where the football is when he slipped and lost his footing there. One last thing on that defense. When we had him for NC State and you were doing the U.S. Open, they said to me, Tim Banks said, listen, I know we lost a lot, but I think we're deeper in year 4 and we're faster. We just need to get some experience. And I think we have a chance to be a really good defense because of this defensive front and how good we are there. These linebackers and these safeties and corners, we're going to be good. And we're seeing 4 games in. He's right.
Yeah, tonight, Kirk, 3 takeaways. They got the safety, 11 tackles behind the line. Clock stopped here. Heupel.
Start to think
4th down call coming up.
Chris, you start to think about their schedule, and you know you're some massive games coming up when you're in this at Arkansas. I mean, the way they beat Auburn today, and anytime you're on the road, you wonder about that.
So got a bye week before the Hogs.
Yep. And then you got Kentucky that's at home, Mississippi State at home, at Georgia, at Vandy. So
I know those percentages, by the way, on the right chance to win have changed. They changed minute by minute. Now they're now.
Are you in charge of that? Who does that?
I just figured out my head to put it. Let's put another. Give them 46% chance to win at Georgia. That sounds about right. Yeah, we just build that in the break. The computers, but it shows you the computers they're noticing what's going on here.
Yeah.
Tennessee team is impressive. We got to go for field goal here from Max Gilbert. Going to make it 3 for 3. This from 32 yards out. Offensive line was trying to convince Heupel to go for it. They're a little frustrated. They chose to take the 3. Makes it a 16-point lead, so it's still technically a 10-score game.
General Nealon's 10 Commandments, number 10, win the surest way. And that's what Josh Heupel's doing tonight.
A convincing way, that's for sure. We talked about collision in Tuscaloosa next Saturday night. Red River work to do before the Sooners take on the other UT, excuse me. And that's the same day, Georgia, Texas, as Alabama, Tennessee. That's October 19th. What a blockbuster in the conference.
That's awesome. You have General Nealon's 10 Commandments memorized?
I need a refresher.
John Cooper, who grew up in East Tennessee.
Did he read those to the team?
Yeah, he would read the 10 Commandments in honor of
Did you pay attention down to number 10? Or?
Well, the number 10 was kind of a throwaway, and number 10 went the surest way. But there were some doozies there. Oski, Pursue, and he'd go through them all. If at first the brakes go against you, don't fret. Put on more steam.
I remember that one. That's one of your favorites. Yeah.
Protect your passer.
Well, they had a couple of breaks go against them tonight, but mostly they made their own breaks. And this was impressive. I mean, obviously much of the focus was on this offense that has scored 191 points through the first 3 games. The Tennessee defense, as you said, has taken that as a challenge to reestablish the Vols as a program known for great defense, and made a strong statement tonight.
Complete football team. I've had them twice now when you were doing tennis with the NC State game. I don't know about those percentages. I literally like this football team with the quarterback getting more experience, with that secondary and the linebackers coming together. Scary, scary football team for anybody to play.
On the edge, Hawkins completes it, far side, head away, and he continues to impress.
The one last thing I'll say about what stands out when you watch them, and it's showing it here at 25-9. Josh Heupel has a hungry football team. They don't. It's not as if they, at this point anyway in the season, they don't play down to the level of their opponent. They get a lead. They keep the foot on the gas. They do not let up. There's just some intangibles about this team that you can really enjoy watching.
Across the middle as a strike. Pettaway running free. Makes a cut. And Jaquez Pettaway down to the 15-yard line. That field goal kept it a 2-score game. 46-yard gain. Touchdown, 2-point conversion.
Yeah, man coverage. And you lose your footing like that, and you get a little bit of separation. And quarterback puts the ball right on the money.
Hawkins has time in the pocket for once. Now it's closing down. Escapes. Hit from behind. Knocked down after about a 4-yard gain at the 11 there by Josephs.
Well, Christian Harrison on that big play just lost his footing, and Pettaway was able to pull away from him. Good job of recognizing that. Now we're seeing Hawkins here try to turn the tempo up himself.
And escaping and scanning and flipping. Incomplete. Now it's Tennessee with a man down. It's Keenan Peely sitting down at the 3-yard line. Trying to stretch that leg out. Looks like it's a cramp. And this is the nightcap of a interesting day in college football. We talked about the last-minute long drive by Michigan marching to come from behind. Back and forth game in the big house over USC. NC State, the team that Tennessee beat up on, got pounded by Clemson. So Clemson and Miami still looking good in the ACC. This is a key game in the Big 12. Utah,
what a win.
Winning him another program win for the Utes.
Without Cam Rising.
Yeah.
Isaac Wilson stepped in and did a good job.
LSU had to earn it against the Bruins. Mizzou forced to double overtime, escaping against the Commodores. So there's a team that was ranked up there in that top 7. You wonder if there'll be some scrutiny. Will they hold their ranking or not? Healy's on the sidelines here. Sooners set up 3rd and 6 on the Vols 11. Michael Hawkins Jr. probably didn't expect to play. If things had gone well, who knows when he would have got his chance to play meaningful snaps. They came tonight, and he's doing his best to show the coaching staff and these fans that he is ready for the moment. Pressure immediately. He escapes it. Running for his life and running for a first down. Scooting around the end zone there. This will be the 2-minute timeout. Let's see where they spotted. Did he step out? Looks like he's short of the marker, so it'll be a 4th down play when you come back to Norman. Moon with a decidedly Tennessee tint here in this hot night in Norman. And it's been a night for the Orange. Sooners still alive, though, trying to convert here in 4th and 2. Keep a flicker of hope in this 2-score game. Hawkins, heavy pressure. Ball comes up in his hand there. Pressure by Carter. It's recovered by an offensive lineman there. Did it slip out of his hands? Now Tennessee's running the other way, and haven't heard a whistle yet. A little bit of confusion. There's a bunch of flags all over the place out there.
Well, they threw it right at the quarterback.
Matt Leftwich getting some steps in, running down there to signal touchdown. Now they'll clean it up.
I think Arian Carter, as he got his hands up to try to knock that ball down, hands may have gotten up into the face mask of Hawkins.
Hawkins went to throw it. It looked like it slipped out of his hand. I'm not sure if the arm was moving forward. It was tough to tell. But then got, yeah, as you said, whacked in the head.
Yeah.
If they ruled this a fumble, where it was picked up and recovered by a teammate, the ball would become dead there because of the 4th down fumble.
The ruling on the field
So it'll be
is an
interesting to
incomplete
see
pass.
what they do with it.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 7 on Tennessee. Contact above the shoulders, half the distance to the goal. It is first down.
Bill Lamagna is still with us here, chiming in. So they ruled it incomplete, Bill, so it wasn't a fumble, so dead ball at that point, and then Oklahoma's going to get a first down on the personal foul.
Yeah.
That would be correct. Yes.
Bill, what's your call on that ball in his hand as the hand comes forward?
Boy, that's tight.
That is. That's why I'm asking you, my man.
It's probably coming forward by an inch or so, and that's what we go by. If the hand is moving forward, then that's going to be a forward pass.
But as you said, the distinction is important because now it puts that dead ball foul into play here and sets up Oklahoma first and goal from the 4.
Right, you go back to the previous spot and then force the penalty from the previous spot.
You fake it to Barnes. Hawkins now flips it high, caught, and Jake Roberts, the tight end, lost the ball at the end. They're going to spot him down to 2.
Well, if your goal is to score a touchdown and kick an onside kick, you got to really get going here with the young quarterback.
Got 3 timeouts.
Yep. A little bit of urgency here.
Slant, incomplete. Tried to squeeze it into a tight position there, and Andre Turrentine, the safety, was right there.
Yeah, good tight coverage there by Turrentine, Ohio State transfer. Actually grew up in Nashville, played at Innsworth High School. Great player. Good tight coverage. Kind of expecting that quick slant to the bigger tight end, so he was able to get a hand in and knock it away. Good news for OU.
Jackson Arnold, by the way.
Yeah, shot at Jackson. But good news is incompletion. Clock stops. You don't need to use that timeout. One of those 3.
On 3rd and goal, Hawkins escapes and goes head over heels. Touchdown, Oklahoma. The young fella down in the field paid a heavy price, but made an acrobatic move there. Wow.
This kid's your quarterback. This is the quarterback right here, number 9. Moving on into next week. This kid's done enough in these handful of series in the second half. This is what it's all about right here. This kid is fighting for every inch. What a job of improvising and then holding on to the football as he goes. Remember Sam Bradford one time in Bedlam went up over top like that. Remember that? That's what it reminded me of in that uniform. But what, again, an effort to try to find a way to get that ball into the end zone, whatever it takes.
Scored. It'd be nice if he did.
Just give it to him, will you? I don't care where the spot is.
Well, the head is down. The ball is obscured there. Man, there was a huge cheer. Every Oklahoma fan, most of them have stayed, really appreciating the grit and the effort of this quarterback and this offense, really. If it is a touchdown, they'll go for 2, of course, and try to make it an 8-point game, set up for an onside kick.
Yeah.
When they were stopped short in that last possession and settled for 3 on 4th and 1, that it kept it a 2-score game.
Yep.
Touchdown really puts it away.
Yep.
See if we can get an angle that shows whether or not that ball got across. He hasn't landed there. And the progressive pylon cam. Did it break the plane? His body sure broke the plane.
Yeah, I think it did. As he came down, if you slow it down at impact when he hits the ground, I think as he went end over end, the ball looked like it did just break the plane.
Bill, how do you see this? Does the call stand?
I agree with Kurt there. Yeah. As he turned over there, all it takes is a lace of the ball to break the plane of the goal line. And I go with the touchdown on this one.
Just holding on to the ball, right?
You said it, yeah.
Here we go, right here. Keep going. Once he lands, right there, doesn't it look like it broke the plane?
So
right on the line.
So
edge
close.
of the line.
Might be the laces, as Bill said.
0 touchdowns for this Tennessee defense. We talked all night about 19 quarters versus non-mobile quarterbacks. And then 2 touchdowns in 1 quarter against a mobile quarterback. So if you're looking for maybe where's a potential concern, they look so good these first 4 weeks. Maybe it's that. Jalen Milroe down the road.
But it's a close call for replay. Can you say when a dude comes into the game as a backup and plays well and somersaults in, he lands, you get the benefit of the doubt? Is that in the replay officials rule book? They got to call it like you see it.
It's not in the rule book,
I understand,
Chris.
Bill. I understand.
But I can tell you sometimes human feelings go into it.
I don't know how you, whatever the call in the stands a touchdown. I don't know how you look at that.
The player was short of the line to gain.
Oh, wow.
It'll be 4th down at that spot.
No
Oklahoma
sentimental feelings at all with this crew, Bill.
Zero. All business.
A cute effort. Somersault. Love it. Bring the ball back. They were on the 6-inch line earlier. What are we now, 2-inch line?
What's he got for an encore? Can he just go jump over the pile?
How about a quarterback sneak? Old school, under center, quarterback sneak.
Peely comes back out there. This Tennessee defense is not going to surrender those 2 inches easily.
It's 4th down.
Yeah. 4th down. Try to.
That play still in. They still practice getting under the center, right, on these 2- and 3-inch to gain.
So Hawkins is coming out of the game after having that touchdown taken out by replay. Jackson Arnold, who's a very physical running quarterback, he goes in there. Interesting move. And all eyes are going to be on him. He got 2 tight ends in the game. His first action since late in the second quarter. Not going to be under center. Shotgun. So Arnold in there now.
I just don't know why you go gun on the 6-inch line. A lot of people do it, except for Jalen Hurts.
Ball's crowding the line. Handoff in the middle. No. He's going to be stopped. Wait a second. Oh, now they say, okay. It took a little conference. It looks like he did land just across the goal line. You got to be patient with these officials, I guess.
Interesting to take 9 out of the game for this play.
To hand it off.
To hand it off, yeah. Now you can see him pretty good here. Some penetration, bounces off of it, doesn't give up on it. Eventually Barnes gets into the end zone.
Hawkins is back out there for the 2-point conversion as they go for Dose, brought to you by Dos Equis. And it's to make it an 8-point game, which would give you a chance to make an onside kick and still have 3 timeouts to work with. But they got to hurry.
I think Hawkins wants the ball in the left hash.
The play clock wound down.
No,
Bulls was concerned.
Yeah, they got to get the spot of the ball before they can worry about the play clock. They're going to take a peek at the previous play to see if he was up before he broke the plane, or if his knee touched before.
There's Barnes. I mean, he's hit immediately. Worked hard to get in there. You can't tell from that angle if he was down. I guess it's going to stand. So Hawkins again back in there, looking to throw for it, and now scramble for it, and he'll be brought down. Arian Carter makes the play. The lead is 10, and that should just about do it.
Tennessee, good job of spying the threat of him taking off and creating. Used a linebacker, Arian Carter, who was a high school running back. You can tell what kind of speed he has. No chance he was going to get away from him.
Very fast learner. He knows the defense really well. Sophomore.
He's just sitting right there. He's seen enough of Michael Hawkins pulling out of there.
So interesting sequence there. Sooners go down the field. Tremendous, courageous, acrobatic play by Hawkins. They take it off the board. Then they bring in Arnold to hand it off. Get the touchdown barely. and then put Hawkins back in for the 2-point try. And now Schmidt, you figure with the onside kick here. Would have been a different situation had they made that 2-point play and try to kick it past the first line, and they fall it down there and make the recovery. It's Nimrod. So Josh Heupel downplayed it all week, comes back to Oklahoma where he was national championship quarterback in 2000. So much of his history is here and so many emotions tonight. He's still working down there. It's still business. He's still in the office. But the fact is, his family is so intertwined here. And Josh lost his mom, Cindy Heupel, in May. It was a battle, boy, she had battled relentlessly for years. There's Josh with the family when he showed up in Oklahoma as a player. And his dad is on the sideline. Ken is watching this game. And Josh plays his cards very close. He doesn't share a lot, but you know that coming back to this state and this stadium for the first time since he lost his mom, and to have his dad over there in a Tennessee jacket, this guy who doesn't show you many emotions has got to be feeling them, and who knows when he gets a quiet moment at the end of this one what this means to come back and bring a Tennessee team in here that played really well and come away with a hard-fought road win. We talked about that streak. It's over. They've now beaten a top 15 team on the road. They're losing their last 29 as a program in that situation. Most of them obviously not involving him.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of mixed emotions, I'm sure. I think as a coach, you always think about the task at hand and thinking about overcoming any kind of potential obstacle for you. And he's been focused on getting his team ready. But, you get to the end of that, and then you can come over and see some of these assistants that you're familiar with on the OU sideline, and having his dad down there means a lot, I know, to him. So he's doing a heck of a job building this program back up. We know that.
Yeah, you can see his dad, Ken, with some emotions there. Again, it's a pretty stoic family, but the pride is evident. Won't be the last time they face OU. Remember, we were here when Heupel was on the staff as an assistant. Oklahoma got the win over Tennessee that night, but it was an 8-5 season, and that's when Bob Stoops made the tough decision to part ways with a guy that he called his most important recruit ever. Because not only did he quarterback the national championship team, he brought a lot of talent to it, and the program was strong for a long time. And then they had those years when, Sam Bradford was here, and they were scoring 50 a game, and then those guys left, and production wasn't awful. It just kind of dropped off from that lofty height when Josh was calling plays here. But he, as he's told us and told many folks, it was a growth experience, and it took him to where he is right now. That forced change to leave Norman. Yamaliabe has come to the road and played really well, and he's not done. Nico will slide down, but what an impressive performance by this young quarterback for Tennessee.
What a move on
his dad.
Yeah, what a move on Billy Bowman there. A veteran defender. He has him right there, and then he shakes him. There's that quickness at 6'6". And then the right thing to do, just try to get down before anything happens.
Well, General Nealon's maxims, the team that makes the fewest mistakes will win. Crack researchers soap on shots.
That's right.
So they check. Tennessee made fewer mistakes. Play for and make the breaks. When comes your way, score. Oklahoma did not do that. They broke that commandment.
Keep going.
If at first or the breaks don't go your way, put on more steam. They did. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, and our ball game.
Nice.
They did. All right, they did that. Ball, Oski, cover, block, cut. You translate that. I don't know what old General Nealon was going on about there with number 5.
Yep.
Press the kicking game.
For here, the breaks are made.
Carry the fight to our opponent and keep it there for 60 minutes. And this fight has gone right down to the final.
And
seconds.
number 10 win the surest way.
General Nealon up there would be very proud of the Volunteer Nation coming on the road here and spoiling Oklahoma's debut in the conference. We talked about that big night, long time in the making. Sobering evening. They've got a quarterback conversation to have. They may have found the guy if you believe that Michael Hawkins has been impressive enough, but that raises some other questions, and they've got some stuff to solve before they get this SEC schedule. It gets just tougher.
And just as an outsider, I'm not saying you give up on Jackson Arnold. I'm just saying as you sit here right now with Texas coming up in a few weeks, you know, you got to think about where are we as a team. Great defense. It's going to probably keep him in a lot of games. And I just thought he gave a spark tonight, and I think he earned an opportunity to get another look next time they take the field.
Well, for 3 games, it was the Tennessee Waltz. It was easy. This was not. Josh Heupel comes home and goes home now back to Knoxville with a 10-point victory. Nice exchange with Brent Venables. They're very close. Mutual respect there, big time.
Big time.
Imali Abez, he's got the goods. He's it. He's him, as they say, right? And he's surrounded by a whole bunch of other hymns. Holly with Heupel.
Well, Coach, going on the road, winning your SEC opener, and it was done with your defensive performance. How do you describe how they dominated this game?
Yeah, man. Great road win, coming to a great environment against a really good football team. Defense played lights out. Can't say enough about the performance. Dominated the line of scrimmage, made it uncomfortable for the quarterback, played tight coverage, got off the field, 3rd downs. Special teams were solid. Offensively, a little bit different game as the game unfolded. Adjusted to their structure, and then second half, pulled it back a little bit. Just playing, a complete football game with the way our defense was playing.
I know you didn't want to make this game about you. All week long you've deflected questions, but I saw your quarterback just come and give you the game ball. What did he say, and what does that mean?
Well, this game coming back for our football team wasn't about me. It was about this 24 journey in our football team. But they realized it was important for me to come back and that I want to get a win.
You've won a lot on this field, Coach, as a player, now as a coach. Your dad's standing over there on the sidelines. Your family's here. What does this mean to win this one in your return?
Ultimately, I know Mom's watching up top, but this is the next step for this football team in this journey. It's tough to win on the road at night against good football teams. We found a way to do that. Good teams continue to get better. We got to continue to find ways to get better, but we got a chance.
I know she was your biggest fan. I love it that you know she's watching you tonight.
No doubt.
Thanks, Coach.
Go Big Orange.
Now, we said he plays it pretty close. That's about as emotional as Josh Heupel would get. He's all ball. He's all business. This is big for him, though.
Yeah, this is a special moment. Nico understanding what this week has meant to Josh Heupel as he's tried to put it away from his team, but the players know the emotions of their coach.
These early season games, Kirk, they answer some questions. What did you figure out or learn about Tennessee that you didn't already know when you look at the path forward with this team? Certainly looking like a playoff contender, and maybe they should raise their goals now.
Yeah, they are a playoff contender. They're for real. The quarterback wanted to go on the road in an environment like this and be tested. He answered that. I thought Josh Heupel, the fact that we're at week 4, he said we kind of pulled it back, which is what you and I were talking about. Got a little conservative, which is rare for them, but smart on this game in week 4 in this tough environment. Thought it was great. Controlled the game.
There'll be more hugs here, and it'll be a nice ride home, but the grind will continue. And Tennessee, a long way to go, but a statement win tonight in Norman, where the locals will be grumbling a bit this week. Game produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Jimmy Platt. Thanks to Bill Lamagnier remotely. Holly, everybody here in Norman, crew working hard in the heat. We appreciate it. Next Saturday, join us. Georgia, Alabama, 7:30 Eastern. Except on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news from most of these ABC stations.
Thank you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference on ABC.